Hello and good evening and happy Tuesday to everyone. Boy, it is good to be back. Party Chat has been on a hiatus for a while. I think we only had like one in the last 2 months. But tonight, Party Chat is back on its regular schedule. However, due to my personal schedule, I won't be able to stream on the weekends anymore. So we're moving it to Tuesday nights, every other Tuesdays. So with that, one of my usual co-hosts is going to be able to remain as a co-host, but unfortunately, due to the schedule change, Mark the Cyborg will not. But I've got my regular co-host of Ryan here. What's up, Ryan? How you doing tonight?
Good. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that, quite frankly, sometimes you have to just shift things and everything. But this works, and I'm glad I could still be a part of this. I didn't realize it's been 2 months.
I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, I did one in
Goodness,
August, and I think the last time before that was in July. So it's been very few and
holy
far
cow!
between. I did almost no streaming in August because I had so much stuff going on. So, but now I'm back to it, and I got streams literally every day of the month that I'm available to stream.
Well, this is a good reason to say this. Damn good to be back. That's
It
right. I
is.
swore already.
So, well, welcome. I'm glad that you were that this worked for you as well, so I could keep you on as a co-host because I love having you here. You're always
Appreciate
fun
it,
to hang
man.
out
Thank
with.
you.
Yeah, and as with that, as we have to bid adieu to Mark, he has been an excellent co-host, and he is the reason why I wanted him to be on here is because he just has such a wealth of knowledge of video games. But we have to bid adieu to Mark. He may make occasional appearances. We'll see. But replacing him, my new usual co-host is my good buddy Adam or Carl of the RNG Gaming Podcast. What is up, Carl? I'm glad that you are able to join me as a new regular co-host.
No problem. And thank you very much for thinking about me. You could have picked so many better people than myself. And you really scraped the bottom of the barrel to find me, I guess.
Not with that avatar. That's an incredible avatar. I'm actually loving the fact you're here.
And yeah, he was. He was because the last episode was everybody was the guest. So although you were able to make it, that was episode 26 with Mo Zamboni and Melee James and BD Jake. But then Mo Zamboni had to leave, and then Ryan was able to fill in. But the episode before that was episode 25 was when Carl was on Party Chat for the first time. Although I think that was the first time, right? You hadn't been on Party Chat before.
Second time.
Oh, you were on before. Okay. But yeah, we're on each other's streams all the time because we've become really good friends. So I'm glad that you are able to fill in for for Mark and got some big shoes to fill.
Appreciate it.
So, and lastly, we got a awesome guest host who is another good friend of mine, and because of being all the way on the other side of the Pacific, timing never worked out to be on Party Chat when it was on Saturday because at that time it was like 3 a.m. for him. But now that we're at a better time for him, I was like, first person I want to get on for the new time is my good buddy, Angry Canadian. What is up, Canadian? How's it going?
Doing good, man. I'm very happy to be here, especially I got a full belly of breakfast, got coffee in my system. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm glad we were finally able to get you on Party Chat because it's been a long time coming. So, with that, we'll go ahead and start off with our usual. It doesn't matter who wants to go first. What have you all been playing lately? Canadian, since you're the guest, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I've been playing several games, just I'll alternate every day a different game just to try to get through them slowly. And so I've been playing through Chrono Trigger on the DS. It's been a goal of mine to
Nope.
play for the longest time. And yeah, that's been a lot of fun. On top of that, I've been playing Mario and Luigi Dream Team because there's a new Mario and Luigi game coming out in November.
Is that
So
the
I've been trying.
Brothership game?
Yes. So I've
Okay.
been trying to catch up. I've only played up to before I play this game 2 out of the 5 in the series. So I'm almost ready or almost caught up, I should say. On top of that, one of the best announcements this year for me at least was the Castlevania DS collection shadow dropping
Shadow
actually.
dropping. That was a good one.
Yeah, and so I've been playing through Order of Ecclesia, which is the final DS game that was released, a Castlevania game for the DS, and that's been a lot of fun.
Have you
Um,
been playing those in release order, or did you jump straight to that one?
I jumped straight to Order of Ecclesia because I knew that is like the most unique out of the three.
Okay. Oh, Canadian, you there?
His audio got him.
Oh.
Okay, I thought
Lost
maybe
his
it was
audio.
me that.
We might have lost him entirely. No, I still see him in the lobby.
He got attacked by the Osaka ninja.
I do have a question. So he's the angry Canadian.
He's in
but
Japan.
he's on the other side of the Pacific.
Yeah, he went over because he
Okay.
was in the
All
military.
right.
Went over there, was
All
stationed
right.
in Japan, and decided to stay.
I don't blame him.
On his
I
Discord
don't blame him
profile, it
either.
says, "I'm never coming back to the U.S. Good luck, boys," or something along those lines.
Well, he probably found himself a lovely,
I believe he did.
lovely Japanese woman.
Yes.
Which shout out.
So
Seriously.
to give Canadian another minute to see if he can figure out what's going on. Oh, we did lose him. All right. Well, hopefully he'll be back in a moment. But in
Yeah.
chat, we got Christian Frades. What's up, Christian Frades? Good evening, buddy. How's it going? He's saying that he just got the new Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Nice. I never played the original one, but I do like hack and slashes, and I know it's kind of a cult classic. So I don't know. Maybe I'll play it.
It's pretty
We'll
fun.
see.
I played it back in the day. I'm probably one of the few people that actually played it, not pretends to like it online.
So, all right. Well, I guess Carl will go with you until Canadian can make his way back.
So I've actually been playing mostly relatively new releases. I played Space Marine 2, beat the campaign. Played a little bit of the multiplayer co-op. Highly recommend that game. Super fun, just mindless brutality, just everything you wanted in the first one. If you played the first one, you're gonna love this one. Story continues, and that ending, Maron, you're gonna love it, especially if you're a fan of the first one. There's big cliffhanger. I'm not gonna spoil it, but man, you got to go out of there and get this game.
Is it? I've been hearing it compared to Gears of War a lot. Is that accurate-ish?
Yeah, you know what? I could say the first one really does feel like a Gears of War clone. It's just a little bit more clunky, especially on the 360 where I played it. I don't know about the PC version, but it probably is much more mechanically sound on the PC. Besides that, yeah, they've really improved this game a lot. It has been a very long time since we had, obviously, the first game to now, but Saber did a hell of a job with it. I love their art design. I love their gameplay design, and everything just feels smooth and buttery. That's for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I for anyone who is curious, Space Marine 1 is on 75% off on Steam right now for like $15. So I picked that up yesterday or the day before. So I never played it, so I picked it up on Carl's recommendation. So I'll be playing that at some point before I play Space Marine 2. Don't know when that's going to be, but I plan to, whenever I do play Space Marine 2, I'm going to play 1 and then go right into 2, kind of playing back to back.
And then also, Paul Hadouken also played the first one recently on stream. So, hail, brother!
What's up, Paul Hadouken? Good to see you tonight, buddy. How's it going? Oh, he's saying Space Marine 2 for Game of the Year. Oh, I praise.
I could see it. It's not my personal Game of the Year, but I could see it. It's a really damn good game. And speaking of another really damn good game, I actually just beat Astrobot as well earlier this week.
Nice. I've heard nothing but great things about that.
Basically, it's a really damn good platformer. A lot of people are comparing it to Super Mario Galaxy. I never played those ones. So if anyone actually played them, you will definitely like this then. Really solid platformer. The only gripe I have with it is probably no one would have played it if it wasn't for some Sony nostalgia thrown in there, that's for sure.
Lots of member berries from what I hear.
Yes, lots of member berries. I'll say this one though, because there was a one that I did not expect to be in there. It's a little PS1 game called Eladrin that I never thought I would see actually thrown into this game. Exactly. It's kind of like the PlayStation 1's version of like a Zelda clone. And it involves going into people's dreams and everything like that to do all the levels and stuff. It's a really good cult classic, but I didn't expect it to make it in there. So that one caught me off guard. I was like, oh, wow, they really are reaching deep. So that was a cool thing.
Yeah, I've heard that there's some cameos, and you're like, a lot of people probably wouldn't even know who these characters are. And then there's some that are like, should be somewhat obvious and aren't.
Yeah, there was like 2 I didn't get, mostly because they were super obscure PS1 games that I don't even know about. So I was like, I have no clue what this one is, buddy. And then got 2 more to finish up with. Then we'll move on to Ryan. I also started playing Age of Mythology Retold.
All right.
Huge fan of it back in the day. I can honestly say World's Edge did a really fantastic job with this remake slash remaster so far. Everything seems, much smoother, much better, quicker. I love the art style, and it doesn't seem like they touched too much about the story. So it's really great so far. Anyone worried about playing it, I would say don't worry about it. It's really good. It's almost a 1-for-1 recreation.
Awesome. Yeah, Kenny's saying he's got internet trouble, but he's trying to get it fixed, so he'll be back here shortly.
And then I got one more, and I'll end.
All right, cool.
I started playing Metroid Prime Remaster.
Yes. Have you played Metroid Prime before?
First time.
First time. Oh.
Yes. Never. I wasn't a big Nintendo guy growing up, so I missed out on a lot of these, and basically decided, you know what? F it. Let's go. Let's give it a try.
You haven't been streaming that, have you?
No, I don't want to stream it either. I don't need everyone making fun of me because if you saw me play Luigi's Mansion, I'm one of those weirdo gamers that likes to touch everything, and I kept falling for the doors, just keep slamming me into the walls. So I'm like, I don't need all the other like rabid Metroid fans to just tell me I'm terrible at this game. So I'm just taking it at my own pace.
All right. Well, that's one of my favorite games because I think Metroid was my number 2 when we did top 5 video game franchises, and when we did Metroidvanias, Metroid Prime I think was also my number 2. So I love that game, and I played through it a lot just recently because of the GameCube launch on Retro Achievements. It was my very first Retro Achievement completion, and I've had to play through it about 5 or 6 times to get that. So if you have any questions, let me know.
I will definitely hit you up, but I'll probably just go to YouTube first.
All right.
Because you're always busy, man. It's like I'll message you during the day. I'll take 3 hours for you to get back to me. I'm like, he's busy. I can't bother him.
Last week, yes, because I was on site like up to like here with work. But I'm back to normal at least until the next install, which is next month sometime. So if you're
Carl, never doubt the fact that you just literally admitted this, that Neo is literally going to stalk you from now on.
What do you mean from now on?
He has a permanent hard on.
He messages me almost every Friday night. He's like, hey, we're playing some Mass Effect. And I'm like, it's 2 a.m. by me, but okay.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks.
I love that. That's great.
Because that's a game that I still regularly play. Me and my buddy, real life, we play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer a couple times a month. And so Friday nights, my buddy will text me. He's like, hey, you up for some Mass Effect tonight? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And we usually don't play until like 10 o'clock or later, and Carl's 2 hours ahead of me, so it's like midnight for him already. But
try.
Like, hey, we're gonna play Mass Effect if you want, but yeah, it's usually kind of late. So
I try to go with him. Sometimes it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm saying, guys. I'm just whacking the wall because I'm so tired.
Speaking of that, while we're on the topic, though, next Monday, the 23rd, is going to be Mass Effect Monday. Carl and I are going to be playing at a regular time, probably about this time right now, and it's 4 players. So we got 2 spots open. If anyone wants to join us for Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on Xbox, you're welcome to join. It's my favorite game of all time, and like I said, I play it regularly. So if anyone wants to hop in and play with us, you're welcome to. So
I would, but I have
Steam?
to play on what is it?
PlayStation.
No, not Steam.
Oh,
it's GOG.
That's something I'll have to look into. Do those versions play together?
No. Sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry, no. That's for. No, I have to play on the EA app on my computer.
Oh, yeah.
And quite frankly, it sucks. It doesn't
No,
work.
you can't.
You can't
Well,
use a controller. I can't figure out how to.
It's possible, but there's a lot of jury rigging to it. I don't know how to do it, but my buddy Melee James, Melee James, he's been on before. He knows how to do it. So
Yeah.
reach out to him and he could tell you how to get the controller working on the PC.
I'll message him. Yeah.
I've only played the PC. I have the Steam version. I played it 3 or 4 times. I've just played it with a mouse and keyboard. But he knows how to get
the Steam version takes me literally to EA now. I think they shoehorned it that the Steam version takes you to the EA version, and you can't play without the EA app.
But he knows how to get the controller working. But I am planning on because I just started doing Metroidvania Mondays, but one Monday a month is the Mass Effect Monday, and we may alternate whether we do Xbox or Steam each month, or just so. And with that, Monday. Not Carl, Canadian is back. Welcome.
Yes, sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. I never have internet issues, and it decided The fates out there don't want me on party chat, I guess, because I'm probably gonna break the internet being on party chat.
Hey, are you able to boost your audio at all? You are a little low.
How does it sound now?
That's better.
Okay.
Better.
I just gotta move the mic closer to my mouth. So
So,
I mean, you are an angry Canadian, so your government already hates
my
you.
government.
So, what country you live
are
in?
you? I think you're talking about Canada, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I know what he's getting
Yeah,
at.
he's an
He doesn't
angry
know who I am.
Canadian.
That's the funny thing. No, I live in Japan right now. So, uh,
No, I know that. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we
if you
talked
dipped
about
out
that. Yeah.
unintentionally.
How do you like Japan? Seriously, I've always wanted to visit. I never have the opportunity. I was in the U.S. Army,
I
but
mean,
never got to go.
it would be very biased of me to say that out of all the Asian countries that I've never been to, Japan's definitely the best first world Asian country. But that, like I said, that's pretty biased of me to say. Just everything from convenience of life out here is just next level. Like little things, like when it comes to going to the grocery store and buying like specific food items, you open it up, it doesn't like fall to pieces, or you're not pulling labels off and like destroy, like opening milk cartons wrong, like little things like that work as they're intended to. I mean, you've got 24/7 convenience stores that allow you to basically pay your bills 24/7, buy food 24/7. You could
Oh,
buy like concert tickets. I wouldn't say 24/7 because you have to wait like 3 to 7 days out. But yeah, you could buy concert tickets at convenience stores, pull money out. They're not shady joints, that the crackheads like to hang out at. Um, yeah, and then obviously transportation is the biggest thing out here that's like really nice. Like you could basically go from one end of Japan to the other on public transportation, and the public transportation is all privatized, which makes it even better because they put actual money into it and it works and it runs on time and there's rarely any hiccups to it. So, yeah.
Nice. You been on one of those like maglev bullet trains?
Yeah, the Shinkansen, yeah, I've taken that many times. It's
Awesome.
crazy. Like you pay a premium for it because obviously it's like it's a very expensive like mode to have out here, but it's
Got a high
insane. You like
operating
board
cost.
the train like a normal train, and then you're like in the next part of Japan in like 2 hours. Whereas like a plane, you got to go through security and all this like extra nonsense to ride for like an hour and then you're there. So yeah, the bullet train's something else, but you do pay for it, like a little bit of a premium service with it.
That's probably got a pretty high operating cost, but cool.
that sounds awesome to me. Just for the record, I've always wanted to, to
You
go to
should come.
Japan. So,
It's especially
yeah,
now with
appreciate
the
that.
conversion right now for American dollars to Japanese yen. It's insane. Um, yeah, full disclosure, because Ryan doesn't know, I'm actually American. I used to be Canadian, but I was in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years, so that's how I
Okay.
came to Japan. I was stationed out here, so and I
He's
decided
disassociated with Canada. I used to be
100%.
Canadian.
Yeah, 100%. So when I made a decision, like, you know what, I don't want to stay in the military any longer. I'd rather live in Japan. So that's the decision I made, and I don't regret it.
That's awesome, man. Seriously. Yeah, no, U.S. Army over here. So there's a part of me that wishes I would have stayed in Germany, but Germany is not the same from when I left to now. But Japan sounds awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
Canadian. Have you ever been on Vets Talking before?
No, I'm familiar with those guys. They stream around they stream on Sundays for me, and usually I'm like on the way to church or coming back from church, so it's hard for me to like watch them. But I have
Okay.
seen them one time when Tomby was on, and that was pretty interesting.
So I can hook you up with Adam because they do a Thursday night stream, which technically would roll over to a Friday stream for you. They do a Saturday night stream, which rolls over to Sunday. So yeah, no, I could hook you up with Adam because quite frankly, I mean, you've been around the world. You're a U.S. Army veteran. You should be on, dude. Seriously.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm not as cool as those guys because I know those guys are like former operators and and like they've done like real stuff.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
full
fixed
of
planes for
shit.
8 years, so.
They're full of shit. Fuck them. Sorry. This is not the
I,
place for
I was
that
going to
one.
see how long Ryan's going to be like, oh, oops. So, well, yeah. Anyways, Canadian, you kind of were dropped out in the middle of time of what you had been playing, so I want to let you finish up on that.
Yeah, my bad. So, Order of Ecclesia, fantastic game. I think everyone should buy the DS collection and play it. Besides that, Black Myth Wukong, I bought it when it came out, was playing through it a little bit. It's a hard game for me. I'm not used to playing those type of games, so it's like been a slow like progression for me. And then my most recent game that my wife and I actually played together, and our good buddy Carl here gifted it to me. Dave the Diver. I'm part of the Dave the Diver cult now, so
Part of the cult.
Yes. Join
yeah.
it.
It is a really interesting game because I remember seeing the trailer for it and I was like not interested at all because I was like, whatever. It's an indie game, you know. And then yeah, this man decided to gift it to me and I started playing. I was like, wow, I got to be more careful about bashing indie, I guess, or like kind of sidelining indie games because it's got everything I like in it. It's got a great atmosphere to it with underwater exploration. The music's fantastic. I was telling Carl, it reminds me of Donkey Kong Country's music, like the underwater level music a little bit. And then the jokes with it are pretty funny. Like you've got like characters in there that are like making fun of like stereotypes in nerd culture, I guess you can say. But yeah, I play it with my wife. We like she'll if you're familiar with the game, there's like the surface diving and then there's like the depths. I let her explore the surface area because it's a little bit easier. But once you get to the depths, you're like fighting like giant sharks and like way difficult creatures. So we take turns. It's a lot of fun, and I do the sushi stuff. So that, like you're basically running a sushi shop, and that's pretty fun. And like strategizing like how you're gonna make as much money as you can. Yeah, I haven't told you this personally, Carl, but she really likes a lot of the humor in that game, and she's definitely rooting for Dave. She's a big Dave fan now.
Everyone's a fan of Dave. I also want to say one funny story though. Like they were up so late playing this that Canadian's brain just stopped functioning at one point, and he was like, "I gotta figure out how to hook up a controller to the Bluetooth." And I'm like, "Just plug it in." He's like, "No, the Switch controller won't do that." I'm like, "Yes, it will." What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was dead tired playing that game, but it was a lot of fun. We were hooked. Like we blew through the first chapter just playing it. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you gifting that to me, man.
Anytime. I've given that game out to like 12 people now.
I'm one of them. I've not yet started playing it though.
Oh, once you
But
start, you
I
won't be able
will.
to stop.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. Once you start it, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, I can't wait to achievement hunt for this."
No, I will be doing that. So, but yeah, with the Castlevania Dominus collection, that was an awesome shadow drop. So, because those are all Metroidvanias, I believe. I was like, I'm definitely gonna be playing those at some point because it's kind of my thing. And I've very little experience with the Castlevania franchise other than Lords of Shadow and Symphony of the Night.
Wait.
So
Hold
I've
on,
got the
I
Game
got
Boy.
a question asking you. Did
Okay.
you just say that you think the games named after the Metroidvanias were Metroidvanias?
No, well, the first few Castlevanias were not Metroidvanias; they're just action platformers.
I
It
know.
wasn't until Symphony of the Night that a lot of them
I just
became
thought that was funny.
Metroidvanias.
It's like, are Castlevania games Metroidvanias?
Some of them are not, so that's why I said that.
It's just funny how you said that.
Yeah, the Dominus collection is probably the best collection out of the three as far as design. The other two are just not like that appealing and like their menu layouts and whatnot. This collection has like full soundtracks. It has artwork you can look at. They also included the original Haunted Castle arcade game, which is basically like the precursor to Castlevania, but it was like an arcade game. So that's kind of cool to play through that. And then there's like a remastered version of that game done with like modern sound bites and everything, and that's pretty cool. It's as a bonus, by the way. Like they didn't have to put it in there, and they put it in there as a bonus.
Nice, yeah. So, as frugal as I am, I'll be picking that up sometime once it goes on sale. But I do have the other two collections, the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which is the platformer Castlevanias, and I picked that up on DJ Axe's recommendation because he's a big Castlevania fan. And then because the Game Boy Advance, the Castlevania Advance Collection, which is the Game Boy Advance games, those are Metroidvania. So I picked those up a while ago, but I haven't started those yet either. But looking forward to playing all of them at some point.
Also, PSA: if anyone's looking to buy those physically, VG Plus up in Canada, they got those all up there physically for I think every system still, except for the newest one. But if you don't want to go around online and bargain hunt or that conversion to Canadian dollars, you'll save a little American freedom bucks on them.
Good shout out. So we got dude over on Rumble saying howdy. What's up, dude? Good to see you tonight, buddy. The Dominus collection are Metroidvanias. Yep, yes they are. So And I saw a couple other people show up in chat. Insidious Bliss is here saying, "Yo, what's up, Insidious Bliss? Good to see you this evening, buddy." And Christian Frady's is saying that back to the Metroid thing. He's played the original Metroid Prime on GameCube and Wii because the Wii had the collection that had all three of them, and they had the Wii motion controls, which I always wanted to play. I never got a chance to play it though. But yeah, Echoes and Corruption via the Wii trilogy. And Paul says he needs to play Metroid Prime as well. Yes, you do, because it's one of the greatest Metroidvanias ever. So, and we got Fractured Filter in chat saying, "Evening, gents. What's up, Fractured Filter? Good to see you, buddy." Now that we are moving party chat to this time, I'm hoping that you might be able to be on. Who knows? Maybe 2 weeks from now.
Oh man, if you're gonna have him on with me, it's just gonna be us gabbing like a bunch of hens.
So,
well, that sounds awesome, to be honest.
but yeah, hoping that we can get Fracture Filter on party chat because he has not been able to be on yet, either due to a similar time constraint as Canadian. Just his was work and not the time zone. So, Ryan, what you been playing anything lately?
I have, yeah. I have
Fortnite doesn't count.
No, Fortnite doesn't count. It's not Fortnite. Why do you hate me so much? No, I kid. No, I do have one gripe. I tried for so long to play Dragon Age Origins, and then this new awful looking game came out, and everybody started playing Dragon Age Origins, and I still can't get it to work on my RTX.
Oh, are you talking about Veilguard?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, because that's not out yet. But
no. Well, it dropped, but all of a sudden, everybody I know is like going, "We're playing Dragon Age Origins. We're playing Dragon Age 2," and I'm like going, "That was me like literally 6 months ago. I tried to play it." But anyway, no. So I just got the Outer Worlds on Steam.
Oh,
no.
Paul loves that game.
I played the Outer Worlds beforehand. I never got to finish it because I was on console, and it is in storage. So I am doing an Outer Worlds playthrough again, which is what I was trying to do with Dragon Age because I never got a chance to finish it because it was on console. But also at the same time, I'm looking because shout out to Horny Alf. He told me about Fallout London.
Oh yeah, he's been streaming a lot of that.
He's been streaming the snot out of that. And
so is Beer Liberty.
As a massive Fallout fan, I want to play that because to see a different world from what happened in the US, is just kind of awesome. So I only watched a little bit of his first video to kind of get a taste. And so I got those two on the burners, and I'm going to try to find time with a 60-hour work week to schedule those in upon making videos and doing streams with like Anna and stuff like that, still doing the history stuff again recently. So yeah, but it's been fun. So
sweet
history stuff.
Oh yeah. Carl's a history major, so he loves his history.
Wait, Carl, you like history?
Yeah.
Yep.
So so it kind of started out doing this history thing. I started a history channel. But anyway, it turned into, kind of doing some live streams with like Anna and Clifton 3D and, Clue and stuff like that. And we were doing Hunting Hitler from the History Channel. And it turned, we took a little bit of a hiatus due to some people needing a life break, right? The real world happens. So, but Anna and I have been doing the Netflix show, Hitler and the Nazis, Evil on Trial. And we have a couple episodes left, and then we're probably going to jump back into do. But we literally go over like documentaries, docu-series, which of course are like kind of like exaggerated a little bit, But anyway, yeah, no, I'll have to reach out to you, dude, if you love history.
Yeah, I'm a huge history fan. I think I've said it before, but I don't think you ever heard it. But yeah, Age of Empires is what got me into history.
Okay,
it's been kind of an obsession ever since.
I never played Age of Empires, but history was always my favorite subject in school.
Same.
And then it just kind of grew into something because, quite frankly, not to talk politics, but there are people in today's world who don't understand that words mean things and that history has meaning. So that's why I kind of started the History Channel. But yeah, dude, I'll have to invite you sometime.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm totally open. I honestly, if you ever listen to some of my older ones, especially with Zatris on, you can hear me just nerd out about like all the history stuff, and I have to even keep it contained there,
Yeah, dude. No, I love me some history. The Titanic, of course, one of the worst histories and one of the worst periods in history because the Nazis almost won. They came that close, and just sunken, just all sorts of stuff. We'll talk behind the scenes. Sorry, Neil. Go ahead. Let's do
No
games.
worries. Yeah. So
Neil's like, shut up.
It's like, I don't need more hens cackling over here. We're talking games.
And Nerd Take showing up in chat. Hey, what's up, Jay? Good to see you tonight, buddy. How's it going? And yeah, Filter saying that as most people say, Origins is the only Dragon Age worth playing. So I know a lot of people have that sentiment.
I
So,
do love some
and one of the other things I was going to say, in addition to the Dominus collection, when Canadian was talking about what he's playing, is I'm very much looking forward to playing Black Myth Wukong at some point because that is like the only game I've been looking forward to for years. And then they're like, yeah, it's not coming to Xbox yet. So I'm looking forward to whenever it does come to Xbox. I will absolutely be playing that. And it looks like a lot of fun. But as for me, I have not. There's only one thing I've been playing like kind of consistently, and I put about 11-ish hours in over the last few days. And everything else I've been playing has been dipping my toe in a bunch of different stuff because right now I'm working on True Achievements. They're having a monthly challenge, an alphabet challenge where you have to get an achievement that starts with each letter of the alphabet over the month of September. And so I haven't been able to stick to one game. So I'm currently on the letter L. So I've been getting one achievement in one game, one achievement in another game. So I've been jumping around to a bunch of different stuff. One of the achievements I did get was in Outer Worlds. So I played a little bit of that recently. But because I've started it, I've not played through it. Once I actually start that game, I want to start it over from the beginning because I've played probably about 2 hours of it over the course of like 2 years. So I don't really know what's going on. So when I actually like sit down, I'm like, all right, this game I'm going to be playing, I'm going to start it from the beginning. But the game that I have been putting the most time into, and it's not a lot just because I've been streaming so much, but the game I've been putting the most time into lately is because after like 5+ years, it's finally out of early access and it finally hit 1.0 last week, and that is Satisfactory.
Concord. Sorry, no, sorry.
No, not Concord. But that is Satisfactory. It finally just hit 1.0, the official release. It finally got achievements. So I started up a new save and I put about 11 or so hours into it. I was literally playing it about 15 minutes before we started this stream. And yeah, I love that game. And I'm not probably going to sink a whole lot of time into it because I was just working on so many other things at the moment. But I just wanted to kind of hop in, play a little bit, finish the first tier or two. I think I finished tier 1, and I'm currently working on tier 2. But just to see what changes were made to the early access version, and I'm liking a lot of it. There's a couple things that were like really a lot of the popular, because it was, even though it's been early access for years, like it's been modded like crazy, and I got into modding it a bit, and not like cheating modding, just more like quality of life upgrades and like neat things like that. So there are some quality of life upgrades that I had in the early access version that they did not implement into the 1.0 version, but there are some things that they added that a lot of popular mods that people created to improve the quality of the game, they implemented that into the base game. So that was nice to see. But yeah, been having fun with that game, and I'll probably play a little bit more before after we're done with this stream. But yeah, so, and with that, hey, Star Wars Marvel Pierce is here saying, what's up, Force? Grip that like button, because grip is the power and choke is just the more applied force of force grip. That always annoys me.
We are such
force choke. It's force grip.
I love it.
But force choke that like button. What's up, Purist? Good to see you, buddy. So with that, that might be a record for the longest intro / now playing. And we'll get into our first topic for tonight. And as usual, I like to offer the guest host the opportunity to suggest a topic. And Angry Canadian had an excellent question. So forgive me if this isn't worded exactly correctly. If you guys maybe misinterpreted it, I apologize. But what he was kind of going for is, what was a game that either launched not necessarily in a bad state due to poor development, but what game didn't launch in a great state due to either poor marketing or poor timing, just like mismanagement of the game, not necessarily on the dev side. What were some great games that just got overlooked due to, extenuating circumstances, kind of stuff like that? So that was a great question. I think I kind of got the gist of it. Was that right, Canadian?
Yeah,
Did
you're correct.
Okay, good. So since this is your question, I'll go ahead and let you start off with what game it was for you that inspired this question.
Yes, so this game is one of my favorite games of all time that I've ever played. I was there for release of it. I bought the collector's edition for this game, which outside of the normal like collector's editions I buy for like Nintendo or Halo or whatever. And I took a big risk, and it definitely paid off. But yeah, it was unfortunate that this game basically released in between two massive console first-person shooters and got decimated by the different player bases because of poor, and I think it was intentionally done, like it was intentionally done just to kill the game by EA, and it's none other than Titanfall 2, which
That's the first thing I thought of.
I believe Titanfall 2 is easily the best FPS game of its time, and still, I think, like to today, the way that they were able to mix the everything from the parkouring, so the wall running to the sliding, the smooth transition between the two, the gunplay was like almost perfect with the different guns you got to mess around with, and of course the Titans themselves and the smooth transition between going from pilot mode to jumping in your Titan and engaging in these different combat situations with other players. It was an amazing game that I'm so glad that I had an Xbox One. I was able to play it on launch. Like I said, I bought the collectors, which is called the Vanguard Edition, so it came with the helmet. And
Oh, you got the helmet. Nice.
yeah, it was, and that was like I said, I never really cared to buy anything outside of like my normal Nintendo or Halo stuff. But this time I was like, the marketing. So I was hyped by the marketing alone, and the marketing was fantastic. Like the way they set up the story, because if you guys remember, the first Titanfall didn't have a campaign. The campaign was
Right. It was
basically like,
multiplayer only.
yeah, it was integrated into the multiplayer, and it was kind of lame, but the gameplay was still fun. And I didn't play the first one because that was like I think it was a launch title for the Xbox One. You have to correct me on that, Neo.
I'm almost positive that it was a launch title, and I believe I think it was a cross-gen launch as
It
well.
was.
I think it was on
It was
360 as
cross-gen.
well.
Yes, yes, and it was an Xbox exclusive because when Titanfall 2 came out, they released it on PS4 as well. So it was Xbox One and PS4, and then later on down the road, or maybe around the same time, it was on PC. But I remember playing on Xbox One. And yeah, I just had a blast. I remember spending basically from launch, so it launched in end of October, all the way to July. I played that game nonstop. Prestige several times in that game. And what was also awesome about the game, I should say, was it included free DLC, which a lot of those other games at the time weren't doing that. They were forcing you to pay for the DLC, and so that just incentivized people like me to keep playing the game and having fun with it. And it was one of the very few console first-person shooters that I felt very confident in my skills, and like I was actively learning and adapting and getting better over time, and it felt fun just to play. And I thought the matchmaking was quite fair. It wasn't as bad as like modern matchmaking, for example, but it was an amazing time. But going back to the original question, I just thought, looking back at it now, EA totally set this game to die. Like they basically brought it to the front lines and they pulled all their men back and let that game just basically take all the arrows, which is dumb because that game I think was much better than Battlefield 1. I know there's a lot of Battlefield fanboys out there. I think like this game could have been EA's like Call of Duty type of game, like fast gunplay. Especially with Advanced Warfare came out that same month in the beginning of the month.
Was it because when I was looking at it, because I knew that it didn't flop, but it didn't do great because of its launch time, because it launched like
Yes.
within like a couple weeks of Battlefield 1, which is
Yes.
another EA game. I don't know why they put it up against their own game. And I believe it was COD Infinite Warfare, not Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, yeah, it is Infinite Warfare.
But yeah, COD and Battlefield and Titanfall. It's like,
Yeah.
why didn't you space that out?
And actually, I got the dates wrong. So it was October 21st for Battlefield 1, and then literally a week later it was Titanfall 2. So still within the like honeymoon period for a brand new game, they launched like another first-person shooter game, and then a week after that was Infinite Warfare. So it was just
Back to back.
terrible timing, and obviously like after like Infinite Warfare flopped, because it did flop, and then Battlefield 1 kind of died down. Titanfall 2 basically was able to kind of keep it going because of those free DLCs, and they actually added a whole new Titan to the game as well. and they kept it going, and it lasted all the way until like almost end of 2017, I want to say. That's when I fell off because I was busy doing some other stuff. But yeah, it was a blast, and I just wish that I wish that it would have had a proper release, like nothing in the way to prevent it from getting choked out by other fan bases, because this game would have been like next level. And then we got, years later, we got the slop known as Apex Legends, which, everyone, Apex Legends is basically like the Fortnite of like FPSs now, where it's like, the meme is like, oh, that character was from, Fortnite. Like Master Chief came from Fortnite. Well, now Apex Legends is taking up that mantle with Titanfall 2 lore or Titanfall lore. So I hate that. I really hate that.
Yeah, Titanfall 2, that was the first thing I thought of when you suggested this topic as well. Because yeah, it had a bad launch window. It has one of the greatest first-person shooter campaigns as well. The campaign
Yep.
is fantastic. I never really played the multiplayer much. It sounds like you were more into the multiplayer. I'm more into the campaign because I don't really do PvP that much. But it was surprising that they had these free DLCs, given that it's EA we're talking about. But they did a similar thing. We were talking about Mass Effect earlier. Mass Effect 3 had a similar thing where they released a whole bunch of free DLCs for Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. So that was a nice addition to keep it going.
Yeah, it was something else, man. And I'm with you. I wasn't always like a PvP type of guy, but this game, after beating the campaign, I was like, I'm gonna go try the PvP, and I got hooked. Like, just something about how they designed it, how it was pretty user friendly to like new people playing, and then you just kind of learn from it. It just hooked me, and I kept playing it. And I was playing by myself. I had like no friends that played this game, so I was just playing by myself, having a blast. And I wish I could. It's like for me, Titanfall 2 is like the Halo 3 as far as like the hype level, like missing being around for it. I wasn't around
Okay.
for Halo 3's hype, but it sounded like that was like the thing, right? Like that was the console shooter when it came out. For me, it
Oh
was
yeah.
Titanfall 2, and I was around for it. I clearly remember it. I got the helmet for it, so like I was totally sold on this game, and then it was just it was set out to die by EA. So and yeah, curse them.
Yeah, it sucks because and due to the success of Apex Legends, we'll probably never get a Titanfall 3.
Yeah, sadly.
So yeah, excellent question and excellent answer. That was the first thing I thought of. So Carl or Ryan, you got a game that kind of falls into that category?
Ryan, go.
Yeah, I can go first. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, the guest can go first. Or new partial co-host. But no, okay. So this is one that I go back to a lot. Is quite frankly, it's Fallout 76. It's much better now than it was at the launch. And quite frankly, when it was announced, there are people like literally who are like in the audience are like, oh, it's great, it looks good. It's like, no, it didn't look good. It was intriguing, but it had a horrible launch. The marketing was trash, and quite frankly, people were like, they were lukewarm at best. Like maybe if somebody pissed on your leg, as in lukewarm. You're like going, it's like a homeless guy peeing on your leg. You're not going, what are you doing? It's like, it's cold outside, but it's warm, but okay, sure, whatever. Like it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And as somebody who, again, who has talked about this more than once, I beta tested that thing and it sucked. It sucked. I was intrigued, and the merch kind of sucked again because you had the helmets.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
It
speaking
had
of the
the
helmet with Titanfall, the helmet was talk about bad marketing.
yeah. Well, this was even worse. Some of the helmets were actually apparently they had an issue with trying to store them. I
Had
got a
mold on
helmet.
them, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had to be recalled
they
due
had
to a
mold
mold
in the
issue.
netting. The head netting that you actually, so like the helmet, the plastic helmet itself was fine, but
Yeah.
like it was the head netting that you had to put, and it had mold on it.
I actually had that.
So
I had the collector's edition.
yeah,
and
no,
the another thing, because it also came with like what looked like a military bag, and it was like this piece of plastic.
yeah, it wasn't a canvas
crap.
bag.
No, it was not.
No, like actual military canvas is made of canvas, but it was this plastic bag. They're like, that's not canvas. That's not a plastic canvas bag. I'm sorry, that's not a canvas bag.
It was
But
like
anyway,
the same material that suit pants are made out of.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
That's what it was. I actually still have it. That's why I know.
Oh, do you really?
I got that, and I have the canvas bag somewhere. I actually have both of the bags.
So I actually got my helmet after the fact. It was something that was from GameStop. It was the Nuka-Cola version of the T60 helmet, and I actually had he was actually a manager, a high manager at the post office who he knew I loved Fallout, and he was like I found this thing well after the fact. It was a couple years after the fact. He's like, do you want me to buy it? And he's like, I'll sell it to you for like $50. I'm like, yeah, dude. And so I bought that off of him, but the marketing was terrible. Like the game launch was terrible. You you did it so half-assed that quite frankly, you're lucky the game didn't literally tank and never recover from that point. Now it has recovered. It has more players than it did at the launch, and it has more players playing that because they fixed it. But for the love of God, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just thinking about a couple other things I remember hearing about it around launch was like there was some people were able to like hack the game and like steal other people's inventory or
Yes,
something along those lines. Does that sound right?
yes, they did. No, fractured. Real quick. Yeah,
I was just gonna say
you
Fractured has a good question for you. You didn't pay
no
to
you
beta test that, did you?
no, you didn't have to pay to beta test it.
Oh,
You
thank goodness.
pre-ordered the game because quite frankly, I was excited about that. It was a normal pre-order. The difference was though is that you got to beta test it at certain times and they would use that basically that data to figure out where the bugs were. So it wasn't like I'm going to pay to beta test it, then I'm going to buy the game. It's just you bought the game, and so it's a little wishy-washy. I understand where he's coming from, but yeah, no, it's the launch sucked. It sucked. The game sucked. It had problems, and I
And
was playing on the PS4 at the time, and I had minimal problems compared to all the other problems I heard about.
and wasn't there like an additional subscription service called like Fallout 1 or something like that or Vault 1?
Oh, okay. So what
And
it
it
was later on that, and this is on Sony, by the way, who quite frankly needs to be kicked in the dick over the PlayStation 5 because it sucks. Who's playing a PlayStation 5? Um, and quite frankly, yeah, they're like, oh well, it's PS Plus. You have to pay this online fee to play a game that you already bought, but that's on the Sony side. So that's and then of
oh,
course they came out with what a Fallout what
because
is
I was
it?
talking about something in game and it gave you some additional like
Yeah.
perks, but they were things that like should have been in the game from the get-go. It was like some
So
super basic stuff that they took out. Like you have to pay us in order to access these basic
it
functionalities.
it was called Fallout. I think it was called Fallout 1. Yeah,
I think
or
so.
something like that. You could actually play on your own server
That's what
uh
it was.
alone, and that was the biggest appeal. Which, quite frankly, I played the shit out of the game beforehand. Like you'd rarely run into somebody because the map was so big, and if you ran into somebody, you'd be like going, "Hey," and you would like run on, like it wasn't that big of a deal. Um, the problem with that is that because I tried to to crash course that you would go on a previous server that somebody had just left and all the items that you were looking for had not respawned. So the whole entire level should have respawned as soon as a new player stepped into it, but it didn't. So you would go and find a suit of power armor, looking for a fusion core for your power armor because they were rare in Fallout 76, and they'd be gone, and you'd go, what in the is going on? So yeah, Fallout first. That's what it
Fallout
was.
first. Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. Was it great?
If I can add
Um,
to that, I was gonna say I was really hyped that John Denver got proper appreciation with that announcement trailer for Fallout 76. I thought that was epic. No comment.
I
Okay.
No.
that's
Are you
music,
serious?
right?
Yeah. Oh my
no.
goodness. All right,
I've heard the
fine.
name John Denver, but I don't know who that is.
I was
You
born in the 1960s.
whoa. Neo, you don't know who John Denver is?
Is he similar to Johnny Cash?
No.
No.
Okay.
Because Johnny Cash is incredible and John Denver sucks.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness, that's why you were so awkwardly silent there.
It's like Michael Bolton, that no talent ass clown. It was a good name until that no talent ass clown came up.
Yeah, not my genre of music, so I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine.
Moving right along.
Neo's like, oh, what the hell just happened?
I'm not ashamed. Just like I don't. Yeah, that's older music. So I go back to the 80s, maybe 70s. I'm assuming he's older than that, or
John Denver was the 70s.
Yeah.
okay. I know a little bit from the 70s, but anyways, Carl,
Just
do you have
good
you have a game that got overshadowed by bad marketing, mismanagement, launch timing, anything along those lines?
I can only think of one right now, but well, I can think of a few, and they all are from the good old ZeniMax days, because ZeniMax, before they went to Microsoft, really was just messing up everything left and right. One of them I actually just streamed recently, I would like to point out, was Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I feel like that game, when I first saw it, the trailer for it was, I think, the same E3 that they showed off Fallout 76. So that's why it also stands out a little bit more to me, because I just remember like all these people are disappearing. It takes place in obviously Tokyo. I really enjoyed that game when I played it, but nobody bought it. Sony made an exclusive deal with ZeniMax to get it as a timed exclusive for a year on their console. Same with Deathloop. And Ghostwire, I feel like, was kind of just put together and then rushed out the door by ZeniMax just to try to get any money, because they were trying to fulfill that deal with Sony just to get any exclusive that they could. And even though they say that the game sold 5 million copies, or 5 million people have played it, on top of that, they sorry, my wife was distracting me for a second. they train of thought's gone.
5 million copies.
Oh yeah, even though they said like 5 million people played it, it was basically on sale for like $15 everywhere you can get it. It was basically given away for free on Epic Game Store. It just quickly came and went. I actually do like that game a lot, and it just makes me sad that they rushed it out the door. It feels like you could tell that it was very rushed, especially towards the end of that game. And I feel like if they were given more time to really expand that franchise, that they were going to do something with it. And especially after we saw some of the FTC leaks, they were actually planning to make it a core franchise going forward.
Yeah, Carl was just talking to me about Ghostwire Tokyo just last week, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, you should play it." I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, that one and Deathloop are kind of in that same situation where they were exclusive for Sony for a while, but now they're on Xbox and they're Bethesda, so they're on Game Pass as well. So if anyone is interested in either of those,
just real quick, I completely understand where you're coming from, but shout out to the fact that Interplay, did Wasteland, and then we got Fallout and stuff like that. I mean, it's a sad progression to see failed titles and stuff like that, but it's just it's different. But yeah, ZeniMax has added some failures. Yeah.
all right. As for myself, a couple to as I said earlier, the first thing I thought of when Canadian suggested this topic was Titanfall 2. So I had to do a little bit of homework to come up with a couple other ones. A couple that I don't think were like mismanaged in any way. It's just for whatever reason they just didn't hit, despite I mention this one all the time because it's criminally underrated. Vanquish. It's a platinum game. It's awesome. It's a ridiculously like awesome over the top third person shooter. It's super fast paced. So always got to give Vanquish some love. It wasn't mismanaged or anything. Just for whatever reason, it didn't sell very well. And if you get a chance to play it, definitely do. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And it's a pretty short game. You can get through it in about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. So it's not very long, but it's a great game. And then another one that I never got around to playing, but it was a really cool concept, and it legitimately died. Like they pulled it offline a couple months ago, so you can't buy it or even play it now if you wanted to. But a really cool concept is a game called Lemnis Gate, Lemnis. I'm curious, have any of you guys even heard of Lemnis Gate?
No.
No, first time.
So
Yeah, no, never.
You can go watch the trailer for it online because the trailer still exists, just the game doesn't exist. But what the concept was is it's a PvP game, but it's 1v1 and it's round based. So you go through one round and you're each doing stuff, and then on the next round, whatever you did on the last round, there's like a ghost copy, and they do the same thing they did in the last round, and then it keeps going through, and every round whatever you did on the last round keeps getting added to the map. So it ends up being like 5 of your ghosts versus 5 of their ghosts. And so you're trying to it's like super strategic. Just like watching the trailer kind of like blew my mind, like trying to think about like what I'm going to do in this round so that my ghost will do it in the next round so that I can figure out what I want to do based on that in the next round. It's like mind blowing and this really cool concept. And the game, it literally shut down. You can't play it anymore, even if you wanted to. So that was a really cool. I was planning on playing it because it was such a cool concept, but they shut it down before I got around to it.
So it's
shout
a
out
little
to
bit.
Lemnis Gate.
It's a little tactics based.
It's like it is a first person shooter, or it might be third person shooter. I'm pretty sure it was first person shooter, but it's very tactical in that what you're doing in this round will play out in the next round too. And each round you go, and I think it's like 4 or 5 rounds before the game ends. And so by the time you get to the end, there's like 4 ghost copies of you running around the map, as well as 4 ghost copies of your opponent. So it was this really cool concept that I've never seen anything like it before, and it got shut down and doesn't exist anymore. So that's sad. But the other one I wanted to mention is a Metroidvania, and I played the demo and I really liked it. I'm still looking forward to playing it at some point, but it got a lot of hate before it came out, and it was just a couple months ago, and it was because the developer of the game was tied to Sweet Baby Inc., and that was Tales of Kinzera Zao. It looks like a perfectly serviceable 2D platformer Metroidvania with some great art style. You play it through like some African mythology, and it looks like a really pretty game. And I'm looking forward to playing it at some point, but it legitimately at its peak, at least on Steam, only had like 200 something players. And it's because the developer was tied to Sweet Baby Inc. And that name, is like in the dirt. So people are like, oh, this is tied to Sweet Baby Inc. I'm not even interested. So it was sad to see that, because I think this game actually deserves some love, because it is not forced diversity, it's actual diversity, because you're playing through I believe you play as this guy. I think Zhao was his name. Like I said, I played the demo on stream a few months ago. I could be getting the names mixed up, but your grandfather passed away, and you're like on this life journey, and you experience, you like meet these like fire and ice spirits, and they give you powers and stuff that play into the gameplay of the game. And it looked like a really cool game, but yeah, it did not do well because of who it was associated with. So.
I actually heard that it was really good from a lot of the normies that I know that played it. They said it was actually really good, so I hope you do play it one day.
I absolutely am going to play it at some point. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because the demo I played was great. I loved it. So
One more
yeah,
time,
do you
what
know
was the name of it?
Tales of Kinzera Zao, and that's Kenzera, and Zao is Zau.
Okay.
What are you about to say, Carl?
I was going to say, do you know who Randall Thor 19 is?
I've heard that name a lot. I tossed around, but I have never like looked into who that is.
He's a fellow Illinois boy, but he's also one of those guys with a million gamer score, and he said he really loved it.
Okay. I will get there eventually. No, the million gamer score, that is.
You will definitely get there before me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably be there by. I probably would have been there a long time ago if for like 2011, like 2016, I basically played 3 games. That was Skyrim, Destiny, and Mass Effect. And so if I had been playing for a gamer score all that time, I'd probably be over a million by now. But I'll get there eventually. I've got plenty of games to get there. So
yes.
But all right, so on to our next topic, and Carl basically suggested the rest of these, or in some manner, because he was like, "Hey, we want to talk about some news stuff." I'm like, "Well, party chat's not really a news thing, but we can take news topics and turn them into party chat questions." So these are the rest of the questions for today are basically due to Carl suggesting news topics. I was like, "Here, let's reword it into a way that makes it into a great party chat question." So
yeah, without doubt, yeah. That's what I'm here for. Is just hopefully to give you ideas.
They were great ideas, and we were able to make them into some great party chat topics. So the next one we got up here, and I think I already know what Canadian's answer is going to be. But what are some games that are trapped on older consoles that need to be brought forward, remastered, remade, and something like that, so that we can play them on modern hardware without having to go back to older hardware to play them? Because sometimes it's annoying to hook up old systems to play games when other games in the same series may already be on modern platforms, but some of the other games are not. So
how dare you?
I'm going to start this one off because I mention this one often because it's the one original Xbox game I have that is not backwards compatible, and it's my namesake. That's the Path of Neo. I have no way to play the Path of Neo because I don't even have an original Xbox anymore. So I would love to see that at least get backwards compatibility added so I can play that again, because whenever it gets brought up, people are like, "Oh yeah, I love that game. It was fun. It was especially for a movie-based game. Not one of the greatest, but it was fun." And I would love to play it again because I legitimately don't have any hardware to play it on. So, yeah, my answer is Matrix Path of Neo because it's been way too long since I played it, since I have nothing to play it on anymore. So, what about you guys? Do you have any games that you think should be brought forward to modern hardware?
I'll give you 3.
All right.
The Activision Spider-Man trilogy.
And which ones were those?
Web of Shadows, Edge of Time, and Shattered Dimensions.
Okay. I've heard little bits about each of them. I have Web of Shadows. I'm borrowing it from my buddy Rozik because he's like, "Hey, this is a great game. You should play it." He let me borrow it. I still only played a little bit of it, but I was playing it just a week or so ago for the alphabet challenge I was going for. It had an achievement that I needed a letter for, so I did just play it recently, but I've only played it for like 15 minutes. But I've heard great things about Web of Shadows.
Yeah, Web of Shadows I hear is the best one. I played a little bit of it, but I figured it's just time. Xbox doesn't have really any Spider-Man content. They just got Activision. Let's just get it over with. Let's get it done. Re-sign that deal with Disney and let's do it.
And yeah, I think you just said it. Those were Activision games, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, we may see some come to Xbox with that. Who knows? Because I have seen posts from, I don't know if it was Phil Spencer, but other people on Xbox are like, "What would you like to see? What Activision franchise would you like to see come to Xbox?" So, it's a possibility now that Activision is under the Microsoft banner.
Yeah, especially with the rumors of a Transformers game maybe in the works, or a possibility that the Activision Transformer games might be actually coming.
I've heard great things about those War for Cybertron games. I never played them, but if they bring those forward, I will probably get around to playing them at some point, because Transformers has always been a franchise I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's definitely on the to-do list for me as well.
So, good picks. Canadian, what about you? I think I know what you were going to say, but we shall see if my assumption is correct.
Well, why don't you tell us what you think it is?
My guess for you is Twilight Princess on the Switch.
No, I'm actually perfectly fine with it being on GameCube and Wii U because I'm just worried that it probably won't get the same level of treatment as Skyward Sword got on the Switch, because I think that's a really good like port. And I'm fine with it being stuck on an older console for right now. No,
Okay.
I'm actually surprised Carl didn't mention this because he likes to be a fake Fire Emblem fanboy at times. No, there's a couple Fire Emblem games that are stuck
Whoa.
on. They're Japan only actually. So if this question accounts for region as well, they were Japan only. They were on the Super Famicom as well as one on the Game Boy Advance. If they brought those to modern console, um, that would be pretty cool for at least a lot of us Westoids to enjoy it in like English and whatnot. But if we're gonna talk about like an actual game that I think needs to be brought back, it would at least to a modern console, it would be a couple of the DS games. So one in particular is Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. So what's really weird is they decided to remaster Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for the 3DS. And then they decided to do a remaster for Bowser's Inside Story, which originally was a DS title, and then they ported it slash remastered it for the 3DS. And then, of course, they made two brand new games for the 3DS, and then now we have this new one coming for the Switch. But out of that entire series, Partners in Time is forever stuck on the DS, as well as like the Wii U shop if you bought it, like I did on the Wii U shop. So even though it's not my favorite out of the series, I think it's like a bit odd that that one's gonna get stranded forever on the DS, whereas like the other ones, you can basically buy all of them on the 3DS. So that would be one that I would like to see bring up to modern consoles. Another one that I
That
mean,
just made me think of something.
this is more of a series, um, but it would be nice to see some kind of port, or yeah, I guess a port you would call it, like from Star Fox Assault. I think that would
I
do
just
pretty
played that.
well. Yeah, I know you just played it. I think that would do really well in the modern, like in this modern era. Obviously, Nintendo will probably charge like $60 for a game like that, but it'd still be a fun game to see brought up to the modern like Switch, for example. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It was kind of hard to tell, or really hard to answer this question because a lot of these are kind of like pie in the sky, and I was trying to think of like more like realistic games that I could see coming. And yeah, I like Carl's answers as far as like the Spider-Man games or even the Transformer games. Um, actually, you know what? I just thought of one.
I
Would
just
you
thought of two.
consider what's that?
I just while you were talking, I thought
Oh,
of two more that I don't know why I didn't think of. I totally should have thought of and put them on my list, but I'll get to that when you're done.
so I was looking for this the other day on the Xbox store. For some odd reason, correct me if I'm wrong. There's either two or three Army of Two games on the
There are three.
original. There are three,
There's
but
the
only
original, there's the 40th Day, and then there was
Devil's
something
Cartel.
Devil's
Yeah.
Cartel. Yeah.
Okay, so I think if I'm correct, only the original one you could play through the Series X or like the modern Xbox. Like you,
I
the
do
other
know that
ones,
the original is backwards compatible because I've played it on my series before, but I
yeah,
don't know
but
about the other ones.
yeah, that so I would say the other ones I would like to see them brought up, specifically Devil's Cartel, because that was like the third one in the series. That one I don't know if it's backwards compatible, but it would be nice to see that brought to like PC as well, like modern consoles, because it's a co-op game. It's co-op campaign game, and it's a lot
Yep.
of fun. And that's a game I want to play with like somebody like you or Dread Roberts, like just somebody, just one other person that you could just quickly turn on, play for like a couple hours, and then move on to something else. So I guess that would be my final answer. This is a
Okay.
deal or no deal.
Good pick. I just pulled it up, and you are correct. 40th Day and Devil's Cartel are not backwards compatible. Only the original Army of Two is,
Yeah, see,
at least
because
on Xbox.
when I was trying to purchase them on the 360 store before it shut down, they weren't even on the 360 store. So like you have to have
Oh,
the physical
the
disc, and then
physical disc. Yeah.
yeah, and I noticed on Xbox One they only have Army of One as a digital purchase. So I was just kind of, or Series X, because you guys are ahead of me right now. I was like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. Those two games are kind of stranded, even though they're really good games.
I never played 40th Day or Devil's Cartel, although I believe I played the 40th Day demo. But I did play through the first one. Both I played through it first with just an AI partner, and it got a lot of flack saying that the AI was terrible. It wasn't. I played games with worse AI. I didn't think it was that bad. And I played through the first few levels in like couch co-op, and it does have couch co-op, which a lot of games don't have anymore, which is a shame. But yeah, dude, I started playing through it last year. We didn't get very far just because of time. but my buddy Rozik, we were like, he's like, hey, let's play through Army of Two. So we played through the first few levels, then we kind of forgot about it. But I'd definitely be up for playing through that again. That's a fun co-op game.
Yep.
And it's a really cool concept that I don't think I've seen in any other game. Is the aggro system, because they actually like implement it as a mechanic in the game, where if you're shooting a whole bunch, you'll get all the aggro and all the enemies will shoot at you, and then your partner will basically be invisible and can walk around and sneak around and get behind other people. And you can there's a bar down at the bottom that always shows where the aggro is between you and the enemies, which is a really cool concept.
Yeah, it works well in like a tactical shooter like that. I mean, I guess maybe it's not a full tactical shooter, but you see that in like movies, and right, they're like, "Hey, cover me," and they'll like blind fire while someone else sneaks around. Like, it's cool to see that in an actual video game, like implemented and designed well.
Yeah, for sure. And a few minutes ago, while we were talking about the Cybertron games, dude is saying the problem with the Cybertron games, at least on Xbox 360, is that they have online achievements and the servers are off now, so you can only get the campaign achievements, unfortunately. But who knows? That's a real.
Unless they bring them back online.
That's what I was saying. Is like maybe if they bring them backwards compatible, maybe they'll bring them back online. But you can't even buy the game digitally anymore. You'd have to buy it physically, since they are 360 games and 360 stores shut down. So that'd be a really big ask. So I doubt that they would, but that would be cool if they did. But yeah, while Canadian was talking, he jogged my memory on a couple that I should be kicking myself for not thinking of on putting on my list of games that should be brought forward. And they're both from the same franchise, which is my second favorite franchise of all time. And the one that I first thought of was Metroid: Samus Returns, which is the 3D. I think it was a 3DS game.
Yes.
I've never played it because I never owned a 3DS, and it's basically Nintendo's remake of Metroid 2. So I don't have any way of playing that. If they brought that to Switch, I would absolutely get that and play it. And then they very well may do this, but I absolutely hope that they give the Metroid Prime remastered treatment to Metroid Primes 2 and 3.
Yes, let's go, brother.
I don't know why I didn't think of that, because that's like one of the things. Like, if I could have any game right now, that might be it. Like, because they already have the Wii trilogy of all 3 Metroid Prime games. Just basically, port that to Switch. I mean, that would be minimum effort. But if they what they did with Metroid Prime, they put in the love and the time to 2 and 3. Oh my God, that'd be fantastic. Because Canadian and I are big. I was talking about it last night on my whatever stream I was on last night. How much I love Metroid Prime 2. I love it probably just as much, if not more, than the first Metroid Prime, despite its flaws.
I actually just interviewed a guy the other day on my channel, and he's a big Bionicle fan, but he's also a big Prime 2 fan. He's like, Prime 2 is my favorite of the Prime series, and we had a chat, and he told me that a lot of Bionicle fans are actually big Metroid fans, and he says he finds it like more often than not, it's that way versus like the opposite way. Like, if you're a big Metroid fan, more than likely you've never heard of Bionicle or you don't care about Bionicle. So it was like a really funny thing, but yeah, he loves Prime 2 a lot.
I guess I would be the outlier on that one, because I know of Bionicle, but I learned more about Bionicle when you were on Party Chat for the first time last year than I ever knew about it. I knew it was a Lego thing because I was huge on Legos when I was a kid, but Bionicle was becoming a thing right after I was kind of aging out of Legos.
Yeah.
So I never got into Bionicle. But yeah, I love me Prime too. So, Ryan, I don't think that we've gotten you on this topic yet.
Yeah. So I have 4.
Okay.
They're all kind of in the same arena. No puns intended. Yeah. So I think a great remaster, or maybe it would be a remake for these games, because the classics are so good. Elder Scrolls Arena.
Oh,
Elder
that's
Scrolls-
why you said in the same arena, no pun intended. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't gotten to the joke yet. We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 2, Daggerfall,
The classic Elder Scrolls. Okay.
Fallout 1, and Fallout 2. I mean, these were top graphical, games, and they were incredible. Quite frankly, all of them, they were all very good. The thing is that I think if you had to redo these things and do them right, you could actually do them in the style of Morrowind or Fallout 3. And
Okay, I was gonna say, would you keep it at least for the classic Fallouts? Would you keep it like the isometric, or would you like update it to the modern like first person?
I would remaster them from the isometric space to allude to the fact that revamping the series of these games on both sides, and the fans would love it. They would literally love it, right? Because they'd be like, "Oh, holy shit!" Like because kids like us, because we were kids then, were playing these games, and it would be something that was so special to replay a revamped version that didn't have the bugs, because unfortunately Bethesda has always had bugs.
Were those were the classic Fallouts and Elder Scrolls, were those still Bethesda?
Okay, so no, the classic Fallout, the original Fallout was Interplay.
Okay.
Fallout 2, don't quote me on this. No, Fallout 2 is Interplay also. So the Elder Scrolls, yes, was I'm sorry, was Bethesda.
The Elder Scrolls were, but not the classic Fallouts.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no. So, Bethesda bought Fall. Anyway, long story short, that would be incredible to revamp, to remaster the originals the way they are, and to go forward with new. Of course not. The usual thing that we do with identity politics and all that kind of crap. But I mean, these are solid stories that quite frankly, everybody loved, and it's something that these games, they launched franchises upon franchise upon franchise. So maybe some of us watched the Fallout show. It was pretty good. It was pretty good, to be honest. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good.
A heck of a
So
lot better
anyway,
than the Halo show that doesn't exist.
yes, it was so much better than the Halo show, and I watched that too.
So
So I
Ryan,
mean,
oh my
yes,
bad, I didn't want to stop you. So you're talking about remastering the original like Fallout 1 and 2, right? Which was like topographical. What systems did they come on again? It was
I know they were on
computer originally.
PC.
PC
Yeah,
only.
PC only.
but
I
like
thought
what
so.
was it was like the what computers in particular? Like
Windows
well,
97.
okay, but it wasn't like graphically or like crazy, right? It was just like black. Like, did it have any graphics to it? I'm not super familiar with it. I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. But like, how did it look? Like, was it all black screens and green wires or lines and stuff, or
No,
like?
No.
it looked
No,
like
no.
Command and Conquer.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Because what I was gonna say is, they recently remastered, I think, or maybe it was a new game they did with Wizardry, because Wizardry is like really old. It's like one of the oldest like computer-based RPG games, and there's like a new Wizardry that came out. I think it was like last year, within this year, because I demoed it recently, but I didn't realize how old the game was. And so if they were able to do the same treatment with Fallout 1 and 2, and um, actually even Elder Scrolls, right? Because Elder Scrolls is like really has an older, yeah, it's in the
yes,
same realm like that. I
yeah.
think it's possible. It's just the amount of work that they would have to put into it. It'd be pretty dope to see like just like you said, like upscale, but it's very well possible because they've done it with Wizardry, and that's like a really old game series.
Wizardry.
I'm not familiar with that one.
I'm not either, but it seems. I'm scrolling.
Yeah. So like I know originally it was on like the Famicom, but I think it was much older than that.
Oh,
I think much older than that. It was on like early PCs. But they've definitely like in a way, yeah. So the new one that just came out is called Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, and I'm looking at the Steam page
yes,
right now. Yeah,
yes.
it's a full 3D remake of the first game. So it
That
plays
looks really good.
yeah, it plays exactly the same except 3D graphics and everything, and it's like the earliest RPG that you can get, I think, in gaming history. Besides like tabletop.
That looks really good.
So, so yeah, I get yeah, a remaster of those, that would be pretty cool. Because the classic Fallouts 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics are all on Steam for $10 each, but I'm sure they go on sale for like $1. But yeah, getting a remaster of those
Yeah,
to make them look more modern, that'd be pretty cool.
$2, yeah.
So good answer, good pick.
I got one more since
all
we
right.
all so that just jogged my noggin here.
Go for it.
There was one game that came out only in Japan and Europe for the PS2, and I would love to see it get a remaster and brought over, kind of like what we see with Lollipop Chainsaw. There was a game called 10,000 Bullets. If you guys have never heard about this,
I've heard of 100 Bullets, but that's a Xbox game that came out like a year ago. That was like an indie game. So no, I've not heard of the one you're referring to.
It's like a very cheesy action shooter that was actually made by the guy who made Suikoden. So he went from making JRPGs to third-person shooters that talked about like post 9/11 world.
Is it like what would you say it plays like? Or
it's like a third-person shooter. That's kind of like what it is. It just made me think of it when you brought up Vanquished a little bit earlier. I just like jogged my memory. It's like, oh, it kind of is like one of those type of over-the-top shooter type of games, and it only came out in Europe and Japan.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
That makes no sense. Like, if it's a shooter game, like, how does it just not come out in North America?
That's a good question.
Je ne sais pas, mon ami. Je ne sais pas.
I don't speak Japanese, so
that's French.
I know. That was actually a kind of reference to Red versus Blue. It's like, I don't know. He said like sayonara and just took off. Like that's not. Dios
mío, no.
That's not French, you idiot. That's not Spanish, idiot. That's French.
Yeah.
Because they're all really dumb.
We need Red versus Blue movie night.
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
I have the Blu-rays.
That's a great idea. I might make that a thing.
I have the Blu-rays, so if we want to watch it in Blu-ray quality,
Blu-rays. I got DVDs, so maybe we'll have to have you host it. I would love to do that. That'd be fun. And all right, so I think that covers it for this question. So we'll move on to our next topic. And let's see here. Next topic here is this is another one that Carl indirectly suggested, and that is with the announcement of the PS5 Pro, which is getting a lot of flack. He's like, hey, I took that as inspiration. It's like, let's make it what was one of the worst gaming announcements. And I have a feeling I know what Carl's is, because if it's what I think it is, he was present at the event, but he's away for just a moment. So we'll let someone else talk in order to give their answer first. So, Ryan, what do you think was one of the worst gaming announcements, whether it's console, hardware, video game, bad marketing, not bad marketing in that it was poorly marketed, but bad marketing in like, oh, they should not have done that because that was a terrible idea sort of marketing, or anything along those lines?
Well, I'm not going to say that the PS5 Pro, because quite frankly, it's going to take the top notch. It's the PlayStation 5. This was the worst announced PlayStation in the history of ever.
Are we talking about the base PS5 or the Pro?
No, the base PS5.
Okay, I don't even remember the PS5 announcement.
It was around COVID. This was so trash. They're like, we got the PlayStation 5, like going, you should get that. And it's like going, great. What am I going to play it on? It was all regen PlayStation 4 games. That's all they had.
Yeah, there's very few. There's the same thing on the Xbox. Very few games are Series X only. Almost all the games still to this day are still cross generation between Xbox One and Series X. Same thing with PS4 and PS5.
And the only reason that I'm not picking on literally Xbox is because the PlayStation 5 did it worse. Because PlayStation has always been something of literally doing things to be backwards compatible, previous console compatible, whether you're talking about software, the discs, whatever. and PlayStation said, we did that once. This will never happen again. And the fans of literally the PlayStation, me being one, they said, "Nah, bro, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. What the fuck am I gonna buy this crap for? You're charging literally 600. It was
That sounds right. I think it was
I thought it was
originally
700
600.
when it first came out.
Well, the Pro is 700, but I don't
No,
see
the
you.
Pro was
base.
700.
The base
The
was
base
500.
was 600 at launch.
Oh,
And-
Carl, you're saying that the PS5 base at launch was 500?
It was $499, and the disc. I almost said the other word. Discless. Discless one was $399.
Oh,
Okay. All right. There
Cheaper
you
than
go.
I thought it was. Oh, you know, I think it was the PS3 that launched at like $600.
Yeah.
No, Jen.
No? Oh.
No.
I don't know. I just know that there was one PlayStation that launched like way more expensive than anyone expected it to be, and it was, you know, this was years ago. so it wasn't the
PS3 launch
PS5 Pro.
price was $599 for a 60 gigabyte model, or $499 for a 20.
Okay, so yeah, 600. That's what
you
I
don't
thought.
remember that, Ryan? That was
No.
like. I mean, I
Because-
don't remember it, but I remember seeing the ads like later on, and people were just making fun of PlayStation for like that massive price for the console, for an oversized Blu-ray player, basically.
Yeah,
Well-
the old marketing for PlayStation was like, you're going to need a second job to afford it.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Talk about bad marketing.
Yes,
I mean,
the
I don't-
PS3
I don't-
Sony. Ooh.
I don't remember that because I got my PlayStation 3 80 gigabyte backwards compatible, and I paid like, I don't know, $350 ish.
And yeah, dude, Underworld Rebels confirmed PS3 was 600, and at least the Xbox didn't want to think in generations anymore, which tempered expectations this generation. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, man. The good old PS3. Ugh.
So, yeah, PS5.
I mean, are we shilling for the PS5 right now? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I mean, it has sold very well, that's for sure. But yeah, the
It sold
announcement was not
on
great.
well.
what game? What game are you playing on the PS5?
I've never
I'll
had
wait.
it, so I don't know, but it's sold well.
Nobody's playing shit on the PS5. They're playing previous console games, and this is my problem. Is that
Oh, you're
they're
talking
like,
about the
great.
PS5
Oh,
exclusives, yeah.
the PS5 Pro, great. Here we go again. And yes, it is $700. What are you gonna play?
Mr. Mosquito.
Well, if I
What?
had the money, I would have bought it for just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because that's a exclusive game, and Stellar
Ooh,
Blade.
Jason
But
would like to hear you say that.
Yeah,
that might be his
but-
favorite Final Fantasy of all time is the
Bo-
Final
both those
Fantasy remake.
games are more than likely coming to PC soon, especially with
Stellar
the way that's
Mid.
with especially with the way
Stellar
that
Mid.
Square has been mishandled by Sony, that they want to get out of their exclusivity like deal or whatever. So, I have no incentive to buy a PS5 now, other than for a 4K player. But you could buy like an external one for like $100, like to plug into your computer. So I understand Ryan's point of view. It's like, what games are there now if all of them are coming to PC, or like you said, they're most of the libraries like PS4 games.
hmm
I think
Yeah.
we're kind of like missing one of the big issues with this PlayStation Pro, is that we're buying a $700 console to do the things that was already promised that the $500 console could do.
That's
the
a good point.
biggest issue.
Yes.
That's a great point.
That's an incredible point, to be honest.
Yeah, I was talking about this recently. I don't know if it was on stream or not, but yeah, the people that are defending like, no, 30 frames is fine, piss me off. It's like, no,
Shout out-
No.
it is not. Okay, and that was like the whole thing that this console generation was, sold on. The graphics haven't gotten that much better. It's like now we're gonna get everything at 4K 60, and now they're like, nah, we're gonna make it look prettier, and we're still gonna have it target 30 frames. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
You know what, Neo? I never used to worry about frame rates until I started doing this with you. Now it's the computer. It's the computer that I depend on. And god damn it, StreamYards. Update your frame rate, just for the record.
So I've been meaning to say hi for a while here, but Amon Ra is in chat saying moo. What's up, Amon Ra? Good to see you tonight. And Steve is here as well saying nerds. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. And I've got a new face over on Rumble who I've never seen before. Sonic 47 Blue Gaming. Hello and welcome. I hope you're enjoying us talk about fun video game topics. So, yeah, we're currently talking about what were the worst announcements in gaming. So, Carl, I think I'll have you go next because I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just take it over here. First off, I want to say shout out to all the PlayStation people who got my Twitter account banned because they couldn't take the heat.
Oh yeah.
So.
Whoa, that's a real thing.
Yeah, he got his Twitter account banned just because they didn't like.
Yeah, he was trolling them hard.
Anti-Sony. Yeah, he's trolling the Sony ponies.
I was like Kobe Bryant, and it ended the same way.
Oh my goodness! Too soon.
I was gonna say too soon.
It's not too soon.
All right, Carl. What do you think is one of the worst announcements in gaming?
I still have to go with the PS3 announcement. Not so much the money price point, but for me, it was the press X to attack the crab demo. Do you guys remember that one?
The giant enemy crab.
Yeah. That just like still lives rent free in my head, was just how terrible their announcement launch was. And not only were they like talking about like the price point, but they had like obviously this like accountant who had no idea what to do, and he was given the most bland explanation about, I forget the game even too, because it was just so like mind-numbingly bad. But he's just like, you could press X to attack the giant crab, and I'm like, what the hell? It became like a meme with all the middle schoolers for like ever.
It did become a meme because it was so bad. Yeah, I don't know what game that was either, but I didn't see it live, but I have seen the clip of that demo many times since. So,
Ryan, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say something, Ryan.
I didn't know that was a thing. I'm literally YouTubing it now.
Yeah, just look up giant enemy crab. You'll find it.
Giant. Oh my God, it's a thing.
Yeah, absolutely is. It was bad. But okay, interesting. Not what I thought you were going to say, Carl. I thought you were going to say the one that you were present for at your bachelor party.
Oh, now I've said that one enough.
So
I try to forget that one, but
I guess I wrote that down as one of the ones on my list. So since you didn't use it, I will steal that. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Carl was there present at for his bachelor party at the Diablo Immortal announcement of "Don't you guys have phones?" He was in the audience, so since he didn't use that one.
Whoa.
That was one of the ones that I'm going to go with, because that was, talk about tone deaf. Like, nobody wants a Diablo game on their phone. They want, a full-fledged, PC sequel game, not a microtransaction gotcha game. So that was incredibly tone deaf. I mean, it still gets memed to this day. Don't you guys have phones? Mm-hmm. That was a terrible, terrible announcement. But there was one more that I think tops it. But I'll let Canadian go in case it happens to be his, and then I'll touch on it again afterwards.
Well, I'll be honest. This question was a bit difficult for me to answer because I was trying to go off of memory. I didn't want to Google it, and a lot of this is I don't remember really bad stuff other than the BlizzCon event. I wasn't really around for the PS3 launch, in all the memes for that. So for me, it was more kind of personal, what I thought was kind of a stinker. So I have kind of two, they're two games, but one would be the Last of Us Part 1 remastered for PS5, and it was just kind of why are we getting this? Why
are we remastering a game that's 5 years old?
Basically, yeah, that was really weird and just unnecessary.
It's already got a second remaster, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that game has more remasters than anything. It's just weird. But
and it's not even that old of a game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There are 5 Last of Us games, and all of them are either Last of Us 1 or Last of Us 2.
And they're working on remastering Last of Us 2 already. It's that game just came out 2 years ago.
No, they already did remaster it.
They did?
Yes, they launched it at the beginning of this year.
Yes, that's true.
Oh my god, I thought that was going
Yeah.
to come out like in a couple of years from now. It's already out.
No, it came
So
out
I'm-
like in January.
Wow.
So I'll combine my answer. Last of Us franchise remasters. That's probably terrible announcements.
Yes.
Yeah, it's also DOA on
DOA on arrival.
for the
Go to the ATM
Yeah,
machine.
shut up, dude.
Got to get that
It's
VIN
just-
number
it's just-
and put in your PIN number.
It's just fucking DOA because, quite frankly, nobody's gonna watch season 2. We're all waiting for
Yes. For
God, what
so
are
then
they
for my other
doing?
second game, it would be the Spider-Man 2018 remaster because for me personally, they downgraded the character design for
character
Peter
skin
and
for Peter, yeah.
MJ, and I just
And they changed the voice actor, didn't they?
Carl.
No,
Thacker,
Yuri
yeah.
Lowenthal is still the voice actor of Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. They just
Yeah.
changed the skin. Okay.
Yeah. There was
Yes.
like a sorry for cutting you off, but like there was a like issue I guess with the original face actor. There was like money issues and Sony was like fuck off. Oops, sorry.
Man, you
Yeah, so I
sailors
haven't
here.
played it yet, but I thought the original skin looked better than the newer skin.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. When I didn't grow up with Sony. We had a PS3 just for a Blu-ray playing, and when Ghost of Tsushima was announced, I knew I had to buy a PlayStation 4. So I went and I bought a used one, and it came with Spider-Man 2018. And so I remember playing it because I was excited to play the game, but it wasn't enough for me to go buy a whole console for the Spider-Man game. And so I enjoyed, that version of Peter Parker and his character design. And yeah, when they announced this like remaster for the PC and the PS5, I was like mortified. I was like, what did they do to this guy? Like, what did they do to him, to MJ? Like, it was awful, and people just ate it up. Like it was amazing. So yeah, for me it was like game specific. Those two games they were just weird. I don't understand what they were thinking.
Carl, I know you love that game. Which version do you prefer, the pre or post remaster?
To be honest with you, they're both fine for me. I just like the remaster a little bit more because 60 FPS makes that game so much better.
Understandable.
I am just more so happy that Mary Jane does not look like a dock worker in the first 2 games.
That iron jaw.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to look at Peter Parker dating his mom's best friend in the second game.
Oh, that's funny. And yeah, going back to what Ryan was saying a minute ago about the Last of Us show, dude made me laugh over on Rumble saying any series where I can watch Pedro Pascal die is a good series.
Facts.
That guy is freaking everywhere now.
Yeah, he's
all
like
right.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, very much so. Chris Pratt is everywhere now as well.
What was the worst one, Neo, that you were thinking of?
The worst one, and yeah, I was gonna say, since Canadian didn't go for it, I will go. I will talk about it now. Was the Xbox One announcement at E3 2013?
Yeah,
I was
can
actually
agree with
watching
that.
that. I remember that. Yeah.
Xbox still hasn't recovered to this day. That was over a decade ago. Especially when I don't know if it was the next day or the very next keynote, like an hour later, but PlayStation's like, this is how you share on PlayStation. You had a guy handing the game to the other guy. It's like, God, they freaking destroyed Xbox on that one. And it hurts me because, I'm an Xbox guy. But yeah, that was painful.
I think Don Matrick did them way worse when we were like, we have a console for them. It's called the 360.
Yes,
that was even worse.
That too. I was going to mention that. Yeah, we have a console for people who, I don't remember what exactly he was talking about, but people don't want to upgrade or something. But yeah, we've got a product that's called the Xbox 360. It's like, talk about tone deaf. God, you guys are idiots.
And also, did you see the one with Angry Joe and Major Nelson where Major Nelson was getting pissed at him too?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, look up the clip of Angry Joe talking to Major Nelson about it, and like you could tell Major Nelson was getting mad because he like grabs the mic and he speaks louder into it just so you let him know. Like, oh, they did not handle 2013 at well. No, they did not.
I'm gonna pull that up and take a look at it, and I'll probably put the link to that in the stream afterward, in the stream description afterwards, because no, I have not seen that. But okay, but yeah, that was one of the worst. I mean, the Game Pass has done a lot to bring their image up, but before Game Pass launched, I think Game Pass launched in like 2017 or 2018. But
2017.
for those 2017. That sounds right. But yeah, for those like 4 years, man, it was almost shameful to say, yeah, I play Xbox One. It's like, what? You're an idiot. Why do you play Xbox One? So
Yeah,
that was one of the worst.
that's a great point about them catching up because correct me if I'm wrong, Halo MCC was 2014 or was that 20 that was 2014 and then Halo 5 was 2015. So you have like 2 years back to back of like terrible games per se. As far as like launches go and just
Yes, Master
Oh,
Chief Collection was November of 2014. I mean, it's great now, but yeah, it launched in a terrible
yeah,
state.
oh,
And
yeah.
then Halo 5 was
2015.
mechanically it's a decent game, but story-wise it's terrible. Yeah, it was October 2015. So, yeah, add the Master Chief the Halo failures on top of the Xbox One announcement. That was not a good time for Microsoft.
They had Rise Son of Rome. That was great.
Yes,
That's an
yeah.
underrated one. I've not played it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. It's in my backlog. I'm going to be playing it at some point.
Yes.
I've heard that's a great underrated launch title for the Xbox One, as well as what's the other one, the Insomniac one?
Oh,
Not High on Life, no.
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, I've heard great things about that. That's also in my backlogs. I've heard good things about it.
I hated that game.
No, interesting.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, Neil, because man, I feel ashamed for not remembering that because I actually watched that event live. I remember,
I did too.
It was a Sunday
all
afternoon,
did.
I'm pretty sure, or Sunday evening. And yeah, the year prior is when I got into E3. I was watching it online, and then so for 2013, I remember I had a computer. I was watching it, and even though I didn't have an Xbox console, I was like still hyped for Xbox for like no reason. And yeah, I remember watching it, and it was just like, what is happening here? Like we're having TVs while playing games, and like broadcasting satellite and all this other stuff. Like it was at the time I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize like how bad it was for the actual Xbox players out there. So it
Yeah,
was
because
interesting.
the whole thing was about like being your media centers. Like, what about playing games? The thing that Xbox is meant to do. So
Remember when they had Kojima walk out there for no reason either?
I don't remember that because I don't even know if I knew who Kojima was back then.
They brought Kojima out on the stage, and he never released a game on the Xbox One. It's even funnier.
Shoot, I was just gonna say one other thing, but yeah, the Xbox One announcement was pretty bad. So, all right, we'll move along to our next topic. Although I don't know if this is, I forgot to talk to you guys about this beforehand. But we used to go about an hour and a half on Party Chat due to people's schedules. We're at an hour 40. Do any of you guys need to go, or are you good to go for a while more and go over a couple more topics?
I'm good.
Good.
Sweet.
I'm good.
All right. Next topic here, hour 43. Let's see. Our next one is speaking of announcements, TGS is, I don't know, I looked up the dates. I should have written them down. I don't remember what they are, but it's very soon. It's before the next episode of Party Chat. So we're going to talk about it on this one because so for anyone who doesn't know, TGS is Tokyo Game Show. Carl, not Carl, dang it, Canadian, are you going to go?
No, because I don't live in Tokyo right now, and it's not worth going all the way over there just for the game show. I did go in 2018 though,
Oh,
and that
nice.
was an interesting time.
Yeah, guys, I know you're in Japan. I have no idea how close you are to Tokyo. So, I mean, heck, you could be, 8 hours away. So I have no idea. But anyways, Tokyo Game Show is coming up within the next week or so. So curious if anyone has some things that they are hoping they get announced at Tokyo Game Show. So, okay, this is kind of in your area of the world. Let's go ahead and start off with you.
Honestly, because it's gonna be, I know like Xbox is gonna be there. I think I saw that. I read that correctly. And Nintendo like never really goes to that, so that's cool. Like they do their own thing.
Oh,
As
interesting.
far
Oh,
as
because they're Nintendo Directs.
yeah, so as far as like Japanese publishers and
What's up,
developers,
Abomination AJ? Good to see you.
I'm hoping, and this is just a pipe dream. I'm hoping Capcom will announce a remaster for Dino Crisis, only
Mm.
because I've never played the game, but I do
Oh,
want to play it. And thanks to Carl, the only way I can play the game is through the Vita because you can play like PS1 classics on the Vita. So I want to see a remaster, and I hope it's done like well, and it's just as scary as it was back whenever it released in the original time. So that'd be cool to see that.
Yeah, I've never played Dino Crisis, but I know that's one of those franchises that people are like, bring back Dino Crisis. So that would be a cool announcement because I know how many people would be happy about that.
Oh yes, especially if they have it in the RE engine. Oh, Maron.
The Resident Evil 4 remastered engine.
Yeah, the RE engine is what like Capcom has been using for pretty much everything, and it is a great engine.
I have a question. Are Carl and I the old men in the room?
I'm 33.
I remember
I'd say that
Crisis.
I'm pretty sure. I know
God
Carl is
bless
younger than me.
America.
I believe Canadian in as well, and I know Ryan, you're like a year older than me, so I'm pretty sure we're the old ones here.
How
I
did
was
you
a
never
PlayStation
play Dino
franchise,
Crisis,
Yeah,
dude?
Oh.
I didn't grow up with PlayStation.
I didn't either.
So the only reason I know about all these games is because
He's a collector.
no, when I was growing
They're
up,
both collectors.
I am a collector, yes, but I also had a friend when I got my PS1 from the nice lady my mom worked for. I had a friend who had a PlayStation, and he brought like all these games over, and I would just watch him play because he was like 3 years older than me, like at the time. So that's also why like I know about a lot of these games because we used to play Dino Crisis, we used to play Resident Evil. That's where we learned about Blasto and everyone else like that. Like these are like great memory games from the PS1. And like on top of that
Yep.
too, it's like we always had the Game Shark and the marketing
Shark.
at all the Game Stops.
I had a game
For, like-
Game Shark.
No, but like the marketing for Dino Crisis at all the old Game Stops, like I could still remember the giant cardboard cutouts with like the raptor claw slashing through, saying Dino Crisis. So it's like it sticks in my head a lot.
Dino Crisis was really, really good.
Another
really good.
reason
Even-
why I bring it up is because there is a Jurassic Park survival horror game that's in works right now that's supposed to be released probably like next year.
Is
And,
it like an official Jurassic Park game or someone
Yes.
inspired by?
Yeah, it's an
Yes.
official one. And
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is, yeah.
confident because this is like, modern Universal Studios, especially since like it's going to be taking place after the events of the first movie or like during the first movie. So there could be some like stupid retconning that would happen. So I would love to see Dino Crisis come back and just steal the spotlight for survival horror dinosaur games or whatever. Like that would be pretty dope to see that. Especially like Carl said about RE Engine. I haven't played any Resident Evil game, but I've seen enough footage to see like how really good it looks. So yeah, seeing that it would be pure nightmare fuel for me because I'm a big dinosaur fan. So I would love to see that.
Yeah, especially because games like
Well,
Exoprimal, like they have all the models built for these dinosaurs already.
That's a Capcom game as well. Yeah. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
also one thing, Canadian. Did you ever play the Telltale Jurassic Park game?
I did, yes.
What did you think of it?
So at the time I really enjoyed it because we were in a drought for Jurassic Park games and especially story because I believe this was before Jurassic World. And I enjoyed for what it was. I didn't like a whole lot of the story elements to it, but it was good at the time. I need to revisit it to see like how I feel now, especially after the recent World movies. So I don't know. It was cool. I thought it was cool at the time.
Are you
Is-
talking smack about my boy TCAF?
Is that the big dude that goes toe to toe with the Raptor?
No, that's the pilot.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm not talking smack.
Is this Telltale Jurassic Park game? Is it in the vein of like the Walking Dead games, or is it more in the vein of the Sam and Max point and click adventures?
Yeah, it's a Telltale game. So it's going to be like walking an adventure
it's
like that.
Yeah, Walking Dead style.
Okay, cool.
I just remember because when I played it, I was definitely freaked out of my mind because there are situations where you're definitely hiding from dinosaurs and escaping from the T-Rex or the raptors, and it was at least at the time it was pretty. It felt pretty immersive. So maybe now not as much, but yeah, it was a good game.
I will say this: if you ever want a good laugh, look up all the death scenes in there, and they are some of the most hilarious ones.
That's true. Actually, that's very true.
It's true, like Canadian said, like a guy goes toe to toe with a raptor, or a teenage girl just flicks a cigarette at a raptor and dies. It's like
I
funny
think
as hell.
one of the funny ones is towards the end of the game when you're being chased by the T-Rex and the little girl gets like eaten by the T-Rex. If you like stumble or something,
Yeah.
it's really funny actually.
But yeah, it's talking about a survival horror Jurassic Park game. It's like, what if they took basically the framework set up by like Alien Isolation, but swapped out the xenomorph for like a raptor or T-Rex or something? That'd
It
be
would be
kind of cool.
awesome.
So I wouldn't play it because that's not my genre, but I know that'd
So
probably do
there-
pretty well. So
So there's actually a Jurassic Park survival horror game that's basically inspired by, and it's called The Isle, and it came out in 2021. It was one that is literally a horror franchise, and you are on an island, and you have to survive all the dinosaurs. And it's not like Jurassic Park. It's inspired by the original movie, which was actually considered to be somewhat of a kind of like horror survival. It wasn't so like when you get the Lost World and stuff like that, it's more of a action survival, but the original Jurassic Park was a horror survival. It's one of the reasons that you have you know the way it's framed. And so if you want a great game, and yes, the new Jurassic Park game coming out, I am very excited for a lot of reasons. I see some issues, but we'll address those after I have had a chance to play that. But The Isle came out back in 2021. So if you want to some dinosaur horror, it's not Dino Crisis, because Dino Crisis was, of course, based off Jurassic Park, and it kind of launched, Jurassic Park and Resident Evil 2. It was after Resident Evil 2. But
Sweet.
yes, The Isle.
kind of along
Play that.
along the lines of you're
It's on
talking
Steam.
about like more survival horror versus action horror is kind of like the difference between like Terminator 1 and 2 and Alien and Aliens, where the first one is more of a horror game, second or
Pretty
movie,
much,
and the
yes.
second one is more of
Pretty
an
much.
action movie. So cool.
Also, I
Yeah,
had to double
pretty
check
much.
something, but that Jurassic Park game is called Jurassic Park Survival,
Okay, I was just going to ask what that game
Yes.
is actually called.
and
So,
it's also being made by Saber Interactive.
okay.
They're saying
when is the
early
release?
2025, so probably if everything goes right and they still hit the targets, probably March.
Yeah, probably first quarter would be my guess.
Yeah, I'd probably allude to maybe even summer 2025, because it seems that Hollywood and gaming studios can't hit the mark recently, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
So,
But it looks like a good game.
yeah, I didn't even know about this game until now, so I'm gonna have to look into it. Although I don't know, I doubt I'll play it since that's not my genre. But I'll at least look into it. So, all right. Well, I think the only one who's gone on this question so far is Canadian.
Yes.
Carl, you got anything that you were hoping gets announced at TGS?
So I'm always looking forward to anything that Sega and Atlas announce. And recently there was some data mining on Steam, and there was a possibility that two really old PS2 Shin Megami Tensei games are also going to be ported. Those are Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. So those are some really old school JRPGs that I actually own, but I haven't played yet because they're like hundreds of dollars, and I don't like to really play hundreds of dollar games.
Are they still in the wrapping?
One of them is, yes.
Nice.
Because I got like a nice little collector's edition that they had that came with like the little Jack Frost figurine that is like the mascot of the Persona / Shin Megami Tensei series. But yeah, if they could get those modern ported to like the PS5, the Switch, and the Xbox, especially on the Xbox, I will definitely support those day one. They said that there's going to be 3 announcements from the Sega Atlas series, so maybe some more stuff to talk about, maybe like the Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi and all those remakes that they were talking about. Just any news from there, and I guess maybe some cool JRPGs coming to Xbox. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah, JRPGs aren't my thing, but I'm always happy to hear, more older games come back and make fans of those franchises happy. So, Ryan, what about you? You got anything that you're hoping we get news from TGS about?
Well, this is going to be one that's it's high. It's a very, very extremely unlikely. And I know this is not a game that you favor. It was on the Game Boy Advanced SP. It was
That
also
was my favorite
something that
handheld.
it was also something that was, yes, on literally on console. I would love to see a Final Fantasy Tactics remake or a remaster. I would love to see that. I love those turn-based. I
Yes.
played the holy out of that on the Game Boy Advanced SP. I did, and I still have that Game Boy Advanced. It was so much fun, and quite frankly, I think the story was something that needed a bigger audience, a bigger platform, and it didn't really get the reception it deserved. But I think because again, in today's world, a lot of us are older now, and nostalgia is something that is very prevalent. It's something that almost we actually crave because we love to re-experience things we saw as a kid. But as an adult, we want to understand why we love that as a kid, right? Or just have fun. It's whatever. That would be a lot of fun for me. In my opinion, are we going to get that? No, not even close. It's not going to happen. I'm not expecting that in any way, shape, or form. But if that was ever announced, Final Fantasy Tactics, a remastered version, maybe make it a little bit different, like Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, making it different. Um, it would be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people would buy that. On both terms.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you know me. I'm not a Final Fantasy person, but I have heard a lot of love for the Tactics game. And dude is saying that Tactics and Tactics Advance are two different games. So I'll have to
Yes,
take his word for it. I would not doubt it.
I played Tactics. I played Tactics. So,
Okay.
but he is right. Yeah, the
Yeah,
two
I
different
wouldn't doubt it
games.
because he probably has them because he's got a huge collection, and he's a collector as well. So, yeah, I've got a couple here, and I split them up into like somewhat possible and like probably never going to happen, or not never going to happen, but very highly unlikely. For things that I'd love to see get announced at TGS, things that I think possible. Uh, when are we going to get all the Activision games added to Game Pass? That would be awesome to have the announcement. Hey, starting tomorrow, all the Activision games are going to be on Game Pass. That would be fantastic. I would love that. Another thing that's possible, I think it's still too soon, but getting an Xbox release date for Black Myth Wukong, that would be a nice announcement. And then another one that I think is possible, but pretty unlikely, as we were talking about earlier, the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters. Either one, whether they come out at the same time or they stretch them out and do Prime 2 and then somewhere down the line do Prime 3. But if they did a Prime 3 remastered announcement, that would be phenomenal as well. A couple things that are like pie in the sky that I don't think are going to happen at all, but I would love to see a remastered trilogy collection of the original 3 Splinter Cells. They did already do one a few years back, and it was on PlayStation, but it was not on Xbox, which pisses me off because Xbox Splinter Cell wasn't a console exclusive on
Yeah.
Xbox for a while, and then it doesn't even get the trilogy collection. PlayStation does. I'm still angry about that. But I would love to see a trilogy remaster of the original 3 Splinter Cells because they were all on original Xbox, so they didn't have achievements. So I'd love to play through them again. It's been a very long time since I played them, and be able to play through them for achievements. And Star Wars Marvel Purist is saying, "God bounce later, guys." Thanks for hanging out, Purist. Good to see you, buddy. You have a great rest of your night. We will talk to you later. And then another thing that I find unlikely, just because I still think this game is way too far out there that we probably won't get any news on it yet, but we'll see. Is the game Exodus, which looks like it could be the next Mass Effect. This is like the only other game I'm looking forward to, and I hope it is as awesome as it looks. And then lastly, there's been a lot of rumor about this. I don't think that if they were going to announce it, I doubt it would be at TGS, but we'll see. Would be an announcement of an Xbox Portable. That would be pretty cool.
That would be like the perfect place to announce that, to be honest.
You think so?
Yeah, the Japanese love their mobile games.
Yep.
Because
I would agree.
Like Xbox is sold terribly in Japan, so it's like I don't think that they would announce it at TGS.
I can confirm that. It's like they got like one small shelf at every like major like electronics store, and it's just like Xbox. But most of the time, it's just like games. As far as like the console and accessories, they might sell like a few, but there's not like a huge variety. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, like I think I said this before. The reason why Monster Hunter was so big in Japan was because it was on the PSP and the DS and even the Switch. Like that, like Monster Hunter is technically Capcom's biggest IP, but Japan is like the stronghold. And the big reason for that is because of the portability aspect of the PSP and the 3DS and the DS and all that.
That would be cool if they did announce it and Microsoft actually starts selling consoles in Japan due to the being an Xbox Portable. That'd be cool. But yeah, I would love to see that because a lot of people have been talking about portable PCs lately, and they're like, just get a Steam Deck. It's like, well, the Steam Deck runs on Linux, so it's not the best option for someone who's mainly an Xbox gamer. There is the ROG Ally, so if I was to get one, I'd probably get one of those. But if they had like an official Xbox one, I would definitely look into that. So
oh yeah, easily day one purchase for me as well. I'll be right there.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be day one, but I would definitely. It would be up there. It's like I really want to pull the trigger on this, but I'm not sure when I would. But I've heard rumors that the next Xbox is going to pull a Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be a dockable console, and the console itself is going to be portable. So that's just rumors that I've heard. Who knows how accurate they are? But yeah, I would love an Xbox portable.
That would make a lot more sense because the Nintendo Switch is the most successful of the franchises right now. It's not going to be one of the most popular of all time. It's not going to happen. But I mean, it still
not far
continues
behind
to
the PS2.
sell. No, it's not. It still continues to sell hand over fist. People are looking for these things because it's not just portable, but it's fun. And Nintendo literally hand over.
No, I just do normal saying, "Hey, Linux is my daily OS" because he uses Linux and he's an Xbox gamer, a big Xbox gamer as well. So,
I think that portable gaming is coming back in a very hard way. I mean, and I think the Nintendo Switch did it the right way. So,
oh yeah.
it'll be interesting to see because look, I'm a big console gamer. I was before this. Now I'm doing everything on Steam. So it's one of those things that I have a Nintendo Switch literally right here behind me, behind my computer, and Nintendo did it right. It's a console. It's portable. They killed it. That's what they did.
yeah.
So
I would say, news on Switch too, but I guess Nintendo's not even at TGS, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I will say. Go on.
I was going to say,
go ahead.
When it comes to the Switch 2, they're going to do their own direct, and it's probably going to be like later this year. Because if they're probably going to mimic how they did the original Switch launch, like the direct and then the launch for it, they cruise at their own speed. So yeah, they're not going to be.
Nintendo's going to Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really hope they call it the Super Switch.
Nintendo has kind of innovated for years, and they've had lulls. Yeah, absolutely. But Nintendo has always been kind of the lead of the market, and a lot of people don't like to admit that. Even though, yes, the PlayStation 2 is the highest selling game console of all time, that was a one-off. And I love me some PlayStation, and I love. I think PlayStation has the best single player games. I think the Xbox had the best multiplayer games, of course, Xbox Live, stuff like that. But Nintendo just does Nintendo. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's a Nintendo. Like, everybody knows Nintendo. So.
Yeah, so, all right.
Yeah, and also there was another announcement today, right before we went live, that Freedom Wars, a former Vita game, is actually going to get ported to Steam, Switch, and PS4 and PS5. So I'm looking forward to a lot more announcements like that from Tokyo Game Show, because Freedom Wars is like one of the better Vita games, and I'm so happy that it sounds like Sony sold the rights to Bandai Namco to basically go make a remaster of it. So I can't wait to play that.
Cool. Yeah, I never heard of it. But yeah, I always love announcements. So, all right, and we'll get on to our last topic. And as usual, I like to end it off with a "What was your favorite game of X year?" And this today's, since the last one we talked about was 1993. Today we're talking about 1994, and I did not realize until I was looking at the list of games that came out in 1994 how good of a year 1994 was. So we just did speaking of a good year in gaming, we just did a stream over on Carl's channel last week about the best years in gaming. Unfortunately, my top 5 co-host Jason was not able to make it, so it changed the format a little bit, but it was still a great stream. So go check that out on his channel. We talked about, what was it, 1998, 2007, and 2018, I believe, were the years that we talked about. And those were all great years, but man, 1994 could be up there as well. It was a great year. So curious to hear from each of you what your favorite games were from 1994. If either of you guys are old enough to have played games from 1994.
Wow.
Not you, Ryan. So,
God damn it. That what the fuck? No, I kid. Well, there's so much.
there are a lot of good ones. So anyone have anything they want to start us off with?
Yeah, let me break the stream by announcing what mine is.
Oh, is this your James take for the day?
Yes, this is my James take. So my favorite game from 1994, before I was even born, I got to play this game in some corporeal fashion, and it was the beautiful CDI Philips game known as Zelda's Adventure.
Oh my god, that definitely is a James take.
So
Well,
out
excuse me, princess.
out of all the
That is
Zelda's
incredible.
CDI games, this one's considered like the black sheep apparently, even though they're all trash and they're not even recognized as real Zelda games.
It's the worst of the worst.
Yeah, it's like it uses this thing called FMV. So it's like basically like
FMV
weird
games, yeah.
images like on top of each other and whatnot. And no, when I was looking up this list of games, I had to mention this game only just because of how ridiculous it is.
And you legitimately like this game?
No, I'm messing. I'm totally messing.
Oh, okay. I
No,
mean, if you do, that good for you. But okay.
No, as far as like a real game that I played from '94, I'm really glad that there was another option between two, I would say arguably amazing games for the Super Nintendo. This game is actually an arcade game, and it was the Jurassic Park arcade game that came out in 1994. So that is
Yep.
my favorite game from '94. I remember it's actually one of the first arcade games I ever played, and I just had a blast playing it. I mean, who doesn't like shooting dinosaurs?
Is
So
that one of the like Time Crisis like light gun shooters?
yes, yes.
Okay,
And
I know which one
yeah,
you're
that
talking about.
it's a fantastic game. I wish there was a way to get arcade games into like modern consoles because I think it should be ported to like a modern console or even like PC, for example. But yeah, '94 Jurassic Park game, love it.
Yeah, on a recent, was it last episode? No, I think it was 2 episodes ago. Anyways, on a recent episode of Party Chat, and I say recent because we haven't had that many lately. But anyways, on a recent episode of Party Chat, we were talking about things that we'd love to see make a comeback, and for me, it was light gun shooters because they seem to have disappeared, or at least in home gaming. So that'd be great if they light gun shooters made a comeback, bring that Jurassic Park game. So I always wanted to play all those light gun shooters. I don't think I've really played any of them, but I would have loved to, and if they brought them to modern consoles, and I would definitely be down for that.
Yeah, the Wii was the prime console to do that on, and
Yep.
they did do quite a bit, but they missed out on a lot, and maybe it was just like money and not having an interest, the market for it, but the Wii would have been perfect. They could probably do it with the Switch with the Joy-Cons, but it might not be as comfortable as like the Wii remote. So yeah, if there was a way they can bring back light gun shooters, that'd be awesome. Like I agree with you. Those are those are the only arcade games I really play.
Yeah, the one light gun shooter I think I played on Wii I think it was called Ghost Squad. I wanted to get the zapper attachment but I never did. But yeah, the Wii was perfectly primed for light gun shooters, and there were a few, but they could have definitely done more. So, um, Carl, what about you? Have you played any games from '94? I know you like playing older stuff, so you probably have.
This is like just before the generation I usually play stuff at, so a lot of it in here is either games that are on the to-do list or games that I never played at all. But I have played one of these games,
Okay.
and that was Doom 2.
Doom 2 was in '94?
Yes.
How did I miss that? Because last episode of Party Chat, obviously we were talking about 1993, and that was like everyone's answer was Doom 1. Yeah, I did not realize Doom. Well, I probably wouldn't have put it on my list because I didn't, like I always said, I didn't even play the classic Dooms until after I played 2016. But I'm surprised I didn't even see that on the list, or I must have just glossed over it. But yeah, that's a great answer because that is a very popular shooter from that era.
Yeah, I played them on my well, he was technically my cousin, but because he was like 20 years older than me, I called him my uncle.
Okay.
He was big into PC gaming, so that's where I played games like Jedi Outcast and Doom, and all of them was on his PC. So yeah, Doom 2 was the earliest one I can remember playing on PC that was like an actual shooter, besides for obviously Jedi Outcast and Diablo 2 were the only other games.
Well, Jedi Outcast was in the 2000s. So are you talking about Dark Forces? That was the first one. That one.
No. I started playing these like when I was like at least 10. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, no. This wasn't until much later in life where I played them, because I was 3 when '94 happened. All right, I wasn't really learning the complexities of Doom at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Ryan, what about you? You were probably gaming in '94.
Oh yeah, I was going to arcades in '94. Literally, riding our bikes, as kids to see movies and stuff like that. My pick is what started in arcades. It is Cruisin' USA. It's a
Oh,
racing video game that was developed by TV Games Incorporated, sponsored by
oh no.
Nintendo,
Okay,
but
good.
it was literally a massive arcade game. It wasn't
I saw
big
that
once it came
arcade
to.
game everywhere.
Yeah, it wasn't huge once it came to the 64, but in the arcade, it was so much fun. And you literally had the side by sides, and you played these, you raced these cars and stuff like that. And it's probably one of the most iconic arcade games of all time, racing games of all time. And it was launched in literally 1994. Didn't come to the 64 until 96. But yeah, I played Cruising USA.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny.
I,
Two, you guys had arcade games.
Yeah, it was funny because you would use the Ferrari, but if you just tap the button a couple of times, you get like a school bus. And if there's another car that if you tap the button a couple of times, they were secret cars, you get the police cruiser, and it was a lot of fun. And if
I,
you
rem-
double tap the
I was
gas,
just gonna say that if you double tap the gas,
double tap the gas, it's like you do like a burn, like a
you
giant
do a
burnout, and you
wheelie.
get a boost. Yeah,
Yep, I remember that.
that's beautiful.
Good stuff. Canadian, were you about to say something a minute ago?
yeah, I was confirming my what I was thinking about. So I didn't play USA, but I played World, and because I remember
Yep.
like the crazy levels in World and at the local Pizza Hut. It was, I mean, the original game I think I tried it once or twice, and those games are fantastic. Like you said, you slam the pedal and you do your wheelies, and I just liked World because it had like the alien environment, the underwater ocean environment, the dinosaur jungles, like just some of these crazy environments. And then,
Yep.
of course, like that was the earliest exposure that I can think of to like hot women in bikinis was like
Yep.
the Cruising series. So it's that was a fantastic choice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the little bikini clad woman, little digital woman, she'd have the checker flag. She's like, "Go!" And it's like, yeah. And
We're
then
gonna crash.
Yeah, we got Cruising World, and then we got Cruising 2049, and it got really ridiculous. But Cruising USA and Cruising World were the best ones because you get to go to Tokyo and stuff like that, and it was so much fun, so much
Was
fun.
wasn't one of the levels like the Great Wall of China that you were just racing on
Yes,
the Great Wall of
yes,
China?
yes,
That's
yes.
great. So yeah, I played it once or twice. I have very little actual playtime in an arcade, but I remember seeing that arcade game everywhere, and I did play it once or twice. So good stuff.
It kind of reminded me of later on a game that reminded me of that was Hydro Thunder.
Okay, I
It
saw
was
that in the arcades
it
everywhere as
was
well.
kind of the same thing,
That's a throwback.
I like that one.
with boats. And yeah, so those are some of my two favorite arcade games. If I could find those arcade units, I'd buy them hands down.
Oh, speaking of, I swear I just added this to my topics for top 5, but are just recently. Did I? I swear I did. I'm not seeing it here, but yeah. If not, I'm gonna look through my list here of topics for top 5. But if not, I'll have to have a arcade game top 5 for people who are big into arcade games. So, as for me, I was mainly a console gamer, so all of my games. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just mean not arcade games, because one of these was a PC game, but it was 4 fantastic games that I dearly love. All of these came out in 1994, and that is the original Donkey Kong Country, because that was my Mario. I was never really that big into Mario, but I love the Donkey Kong Country games. Uh, the PC game, and it is still recognized today as one of those great PC space sim shooters, was TIE Fighter. Came out in 1994, and I loved that game, and it is great. And I've heard that someone did a mod for it, and basically made it with modern graphics, and I bought it on Steam. The thing is that you can't play it with a mouse and keyboard. You have to have a joystick, and I haven't gotten a joystick yet, but I will at some point, so I can play that mod and play that game again in modern graphics. But for the not the first one in the genre, but the one that really put the genre on, and for this franchise on the map, Super Metroid came out in 1994. And me being a big Metroid fan, or Metroidvania in general, I love Super Metroid. I was just talking about it last night because I was doing Metroidvania Monday last night, and I was playing Zero Mission because it's been a very long time since I played that one. And I was talking about Super Metroid. I would love, love, love. Well, you can do it to the whole franchise, but if you were to do it to one, I would love to see Super Metroid get a Metroid Dread remaster. That would be phenomenal. But the one that I actually played the most of, and is my favorite of these 4 fantastic games, is Mega Man X2. Came out in 1994, and the Mega Man X trilogy are my favorite games on Super Nintendo. Mega Man X3 is my favorite of those 3, but that one did not come out until 1995. So spoilers for next party chat when we go over games of 1995. But Mega Man X2 would be my favorite out of these ones, because I didn't even play Super Metroid originally on a Super Nintendo. I didn't play it until an emulator many years later. But it is a great game. But of these 4, Mega Man X2 is definitely my favorite. So that is my favorite game of 1994. So that will do it for this episode of Party Chat, unless anyone else has anything they want to mention on 1994 before we go to outros.
Nope.
April 26th. Is that when it was?
1994, April 26th?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
No, it was 92. Sorry. Never mind.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, with that, great to return to Party Chat, and this will be a regular now that my schedule's opened up again. So we'll be doing this every other Tuesday, and on those alternating Tuesdays where we're not doing Party Chat, we'll be live here every other Tuesday with episodes of Top 5. So last week what did we do for Top 5 last week? We did part 2 of Star Wars games, and next Tuesday at this time, the next episode of Top 5 will be video game commercials. So we don't have anybody on the panel yet. So if anyone wants to be on Top 5 ranking their favorite video game commercials, let me know, because I'm still looking for panelists. So with that, we'll go ahead and let you guys all plug anything you got going around. Canadian, you're the guest. So what do you got going on in your channel?
Well, I don't have anything like in the schedule right now. The other day I just beat Shadow the Hedgehog on the GameCube, so that was a lot of fun. And so probably the next stream will be maybe this week, not this weekend, early next week. And I've got an idea for one more Sonic stream. And then after that, when the new Zelda Echoes of Wisdom game drops, I'm gonna try to play it on launch night, so because I get it ahead of you guys. But it
right.
all depends on when the Amazon driver delivers it to my house, because I bought the physical
The
edition.
physical. And
Yeah,
when does
so
that come out? Because I know it's very soon.
it's the 26th, but for me, which will be like the 25th for you guys. But I'm sure, like, if you buy the digital download, you can probably, well, it depends on the region you buy it in. You can get it like really early. So
Yeah.
normally when I do like launches, I go to the store and buy it physically. Like I wait at like, because they open at like 10 a.m. and I'll buy it right away. But I bought the Hyrule Edition Switch Lite, so it's like a gold Switch Lite.
Oh, nice.
And the Amazon pre-order bonus came with some other goodies as well. So I was like, this time I'll get the Amazon pre-order bonus and go from there. So hopefully you'll see a stream of that, and that'll be my last stream probably for the rest of the year, because starting October I'm gonna be way too busy to be streaming and some live stuff. So you guys will just have to follow me on Twitter. You can find me Twitter as Toa_Nippon or Angry Canadian, same as my channel name. You can find me there, of course. And I'll try to have some pre-recorded stuff to keep people busy for the remainder of this year, as well as just posting and watching your guys' stuff and commenting when I can here and there. So yeah, this has been a blast, a long time in the making, right? So I'm glad I was finally able to come here and hanging out with you guys, especially you, Ryan, meeting you for the first time.
Appreciate it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm glad we were finally able to get you on Party Chat. Had to change the time, but that I'm glad it worked out to get you on. So, Carl, what do you got going on? What do you got to plug?
So it stands right now, I will be doing another podcast tomorrow with Abomination AJ.
Oh, nice. I just saw him.
Nice.
He's in chat, or he was at least a little while ago.
Yeah, he's getting ready for his show, and we're going to sit down and talk about his YouTubing career, as well as his dream to hopefully one day meet Caesar Milan. Or as
That's the dog whisperer?
Yeah, I was just about to say, or as most people would know him as, the dog whisperer. And besides that, it looks like Thursday we're going to game stream, and Friday I just got to reconfirm with a guest. He hasn't been responding to me, so either he's just super busy or whatnot, but hopefully he's still able to make it for Friday. But if not, it'll just be a game stream, and we will not be having a show on Saturday because our friend, as everyone knows him, Mr. Metal Shred Freak, or as I will lovingly call him as Fernando, his sister's having her quinceañera, so he invited us all out there, so that's what we're going to be doing instead.
Cool. Well, good stuff. All right, and Ryan, what do you got going on?
Well, tomorrow we're doing Wednesday night is overbooked. So we're going to be talking about wrestling again. Current wrestling with JV Joke Voice, and Left Eye Ego, and quite frankly, Matt and Bradley Burnett, Duke Devil. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that being said, going forward, other than that, you're going to have to find, Anna's Game Land and I on Mondays for Hitler and the, what's it called? Hitler and the Nazis. Sorry, I had to remember the name. It's a Netflix documentary. It's very good. Hitler and the Nazis, Evil on Trial, where her and I actually, break down the episodes, stuff like that. Netflix hits us every time because, quite frankly, I don't have a filter, and I'm working on that.
Netflix does or YouTube does?
No, Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, Netflix hits YouTube, and YouTube hits us. So we'll be doing episode 5, I believe, out of 6. So yeah, it's a History Channel thing, which Carl, I'll talk to you about after the fact, and Angry. I'll talk to you about another certain thing. So yeah, no, it's awesome to meet you guys, seriously, and of course, Neo, always a pleasure. Even if I say the wrong thing on your stream,
I
yes, I
appreciate you
censored that. Just
trying. So, all right. Well, as for me, tomorrow night, dude started off at the beginning when he jumped in the Rumble chat, but I was leaving it till now because he said, "Ready to get good tomorrow?" Yes, I am ready to get good. So, dude and I are starting a new series of streams tomorrow night. For whoever who knows how long it's going to go. And this was an idea I basically stole from Mark the Cyborg, my previous party chat co-host. Because a while back he was trying to coach Drunk 3PO through Dark Souls. And dude is a big Dark Souls fan, and I've never actually played it other than I beat the Asylum Demon. So we're starting what I'm calling Dude Souls, and he's going to help coach me through Dark Souls. So we're going to be starting that tomorrow night for however long it takes me to get through Dark Souls. So that'll be every Wednesday going forward. At least I actually haven't talked to him about if that's something we're going to do every Wednesday. So I may be jumping the gun on that. But we're going to be starting that off tomorrow. And I plan to do it every Wednesday night until I beat Dark Souls, but we shall see. And Thursday night, typically an open mic, but no open mic on Thursday because I am going to see my favorite movie of all time that I never got to see in theaters because it's made a return for 2 nights, actually, for its 25th anniversary. I'm going to finally see The Matrix in theater, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And then next Monday, as I said, we're taking the Metroidvania Monday off, and it's going to be Mass Effect Monday. So we're going to be doing it on Xbox 360. Well, you don't actually have to play it on a 360 since it is backwards compatible. I'll be playing on my Series X, but we're playing the Xbox version. I believe Carl's going to be joining me, but it's 4 players. So we got 2 open slots. So if anyone wants to jump in on Mass Effect 3 multiplayer with us, let me know. There's 2 open slots, and love to have you because I love playing that game, and I'll take any excuse to play it. And then, as I said, next Tuesday will be top 5 game commercials. So if anyone wants to hop on top 5 with us and rank their favorite video game commercials, let me know because we're still looking for some panelists. So that about does it for me. Thank you all for joining me. And Canadian, glad to finally get you on Party Chat. And everyone who came and hung out in the chat, I appreciate you guys. And we will see you all later. In the meantime, game on. Where's my mouse? I'm never prepared for this. All right. We'll see y'all later.